Hey everybody, welcome to episode 107 of the Bonehead Podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. Welcome back, I'm Ben, and once again I'm joined by Blood Tithe Ben. BT, how you doing today?
Hello, doing very good, thank you.
Happy New Year, and to celebrate the new year, we've also dragged on, and this time he has a face. We've got the voice, the background voice of the Bonehead Podcast. We've got Miltonio Banderas. How you doing, Milton?
Doing great, thanks, Ben. It's good to be here.
Good. It's nice to have you. Thank you very much. Right, lads, how was your New Year and Christmas?
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, it was just really nice to relax. I think I really needed that. I don't know. It felt like it'd been ages since I had a proper holiday, and then I just did absolutely nothing and just got sat on the sofa, got wasted in New Year. It's me and Alison. It was fantastic. So yeah.
You mean Alison got wasted in a way that didn't mean you had to go pick her up at 2 a.m. before a tournament?
No, we didn't move from the sofa. We fell asleep on the sofa, and everything was fine. So yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Mil, was yours all right? I know you were poorly for a little bit.
Oh no, we were actually okay. So we were poorly before it, and then we just avoided people for the week beforehand, and then we were good. And yeah, we had a really good time actually. Yeah, lots of family stuff going on. I also got wasted, but not intentionally, as you both know.
Yeah, that was excellent.
Yeah, but no, we had a really good time, really good New Year. So yeah, and yeah, the little one loved Christmas, so that was really good.
That must be getting so good now.
Yeah, oh yeah. Although absolutely devastating. So, so funny. We got all these baby shark toys. This is a complete tangent. We got all these baby shark toys. We couldn't get daddy shark. We could only get mummy shark and baby shark. And she opened it up and she just went, "Where's daddy shark?" Just spent the next hour just doing that.
Oh, that's brutal.
I know.
So I didn't realize baby shark had familial lore. I didn't realize it goes beyond the baby.
Now. Yeah.
It's like Peppa Pig, but sharks.
Oh no, it's a big thing now. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I have to brush up on that.
Do you know my baby shark knowledge is limited to the heavy metal cover version, which I jokingly played for Tiff on our very first holiday actually, and it became you know how sometimes you go on holiday and there is a song or a game and it becomes the soundtrack of that holiday.
Oh god,
but
yeah.
The heavy metal version of Baby Shark was the soundtrack to our first holiday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's
a bit of a headworm, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it stuck with me 4 years later. That and the heavy metal version of KK Slider, one of the KK Slider songs.
Nice.
From Animal Crossing.
Nice.
Dude, it's so good. It's this little loop video on YouTube. When I get really angry, I just put it on, and it's just little squeakoids just moshing out to a heavy metal version of KK Slider. It makes me so happy. It's brilliant.
I like it.
But anyway, yes, it is the new year. 2022 is done. And we've had a lot of Blood Bowl stuff last year. And to that point, we kind of got a bit of a special episode here. So, BT, what are we talking about on 107?
We're going to be talking about the match play guide that got just released randomly at the start of the year. And but we're also going to be talking about the Bonies, the Bonehead Awards. Best and worst things of the year, I guess. Maybe not worst things, but possibly.
Oh, maybe we should have put that in. Maybe we should.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's some crossover.
The Bonies came about because I think a couple of years ago, Ian Warhammer jokingly suggested we should do it. So we did it once, and Ben suggested Punga for every topic. Then we did it again last year, and Ben suggested the exact same Punga teams for the winners. So this year,
spoiler, there's not much.
So this year we did something a little bit different and actually put out a very boring looking Google sheet, which hundreds of people filled out the information for, which is awesome. So I got to sit there and have breakfast with Tiff this morning while playing with data points to get it all together. In fact, she was really good. She actually brought me a bagel because she was like, "I know what you're like you're not going to eat. You're just not going to eat. Then you're going to go to entoyment, and then you're going to come home and you're going to forget to eat all day." So I was like, "Oh, thank you." I genuinely would have done as well. So yes, so I got to eat a raisin bagel with peanut butter on for breakfast this morning while going through the data points. Yeah, cinnamon raisin bagel. So good.
Have you had it with cucumber? Sounds barbaric,
Whoa.
That
A
sounds
bagel with
Hang on.
peanut butter and cucumber is
Peanut
incredible.
butter and cucumber.
Yeah, you get
Oh,
the sort of
no,
like slightly
good.
sweet and salty. It's good. It's
Pate
genuinely.
and cucumber is like a staple in my life. Out on toast is fantastic. I've not tried
Try
peanut
the old
butter.
PB&C. Yeah, the PB&C, man.
PB&C.
Yeah, you've never done celery and peanut butter because you can kind of use it as a scoop.
Oh, yeah, that's
ants
good,
on a
yeah.
log.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar.
Similar. Yeah.
There we go. All things Blood Bowl and peanut butter. Right, let's bounce to news. Carry on talking with that. Milton's just talked about his eBay success, tracking down Daddy Shark. And you mentioned the make offer bit on eBay.
Yeah. So I did find Daddy Shark, and someone sent me a make offer on it. I just lowballed the hell out of them, and they accepted it. So I did get Daddy Shark in the end. We did get there.
Do you ever do that? Do you ever like get an idea in your head, or like it's late, it's the middle of the night, you can't sleep or whatever, and you've got like the hobby idea, and then you just go onto eBay and like chuck in a load of really bad offers just to see if someone will click yes?
Ben, this is why I have 4 Griffs and 3 Barags.
I'm well excited for your conversion project for one of them, but we'll talk about that in hobby because I think that's genius. But yes, no, I did this. I did this with Knights, Imperial Knights of 40k. I just like, I really want a knight, but I don't want to pay, what are they, Ben? Like 110 quid or something?
Yeah, 100, 200.
So I was like, so I just went and make an offer, and I just chucked 50 quid for like 4 or 5 of them. And I was like, one of them will come back. And I had this horrible moment because I didn't apply the sleep test. And then just like, I forgot all about it. And then 2 days later, I looked at my eBay and I was like, oh no.
Whoops.
What if they all say yes?
Oh dear.
Luckily, I was too cheap and none of them did. But I was just kind of stuck there at this moment of being like, first of all, what am I going to do with 5 nights? And secondly, that's £250. And then Saxby sold me his. So, and it's sat in the box in the shed ever since. So that's going to Craig for his night army, I think.
Wow. Nice.
I did what you did, Milton. I looked at the big pile of opportunity and thought, I need to do this and or give this away. So that is why when we went to record it in Toyment, Ben got a box of stuff, Tripp's got a box of stuff, and I think Milton,
Oh, it's amazing.
you've got a box of stuff down there.
That was actually like my Christmas present under the tree thing. Yeah, that was so good.
Cool little Bonehead loot bag. Anyway, it's Blood Bowl time, and we are going to talk about some news. There's not too much to cover, even though it feels like there's been actually quite a lot going on in the Blood Bowl world over the last kind of month. And we kind of skipped an episode for Christmas because it was Christmas. So, first of all, we do have to say a massive thank you to everyone out there who likes, subscribes, supports the channel by being a YouTube member or a Patreon, or supports us by getting stuff through our shop as well. And it's just awesome. It allows us to do a whole load of cool, fun stuff for Blood Bowl. So we massively appreciate all of you. But we've got Milton on, TO extraordinaire, and I think it would be only fair to say that we've got Beachhead coming up very, very, very soon. So if you go to the Bonehead Podcast, as we're recording today on Wednesday, we've got 30 days and 12 hours till the tournament, which means, Milton, as this podcast goes out, we've got, it goes out on the Saturday, 2 weeks till rosters are due in. Now, everything is viable. All the new star players from the Almanac are viable. You've got a Norse team, you've got Amazon team. It's all good to go. We've also got the Fenbeast star player. And after several months of chasing up the NAF, they've approved all our tournaments, which was nice. I know some people were getting a bit edgy about that, which is good, given that we kind of sent a prompt email in September for Bonehead Bowl. Kind of like a case of, hey, we submitted this 6 months in advance. The rules pack is basically the same as it's been for the last 2 years. Let's approve that, please. And eventually, without word, it was approved. So we're all good to go for that. But yeah, 2 weeks to go for the rosters. Milton, have you had a few in already?
Yeah, we've had quite a few in already.
Yes. Oh,
I
super.
got to say the sevens, I'm certainly excited about. We've had some cool sevens rosters in, so looking forward to seeing how they play out.
Do we need to start allowing the giant in sevens as well?
That would be so much fun. Like a solo giant,
Yeah, just
like boss fight.
giant.
Like
How
two
much are the
giants.
giants? Are they 300 now or 350?
think it's
350, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that gives you 250. What can you buy? What can you buy 7 of for 250? 30k.
Snotling.
Halflings, snotlings, and noblars. I guess.
Noblars, yeah.
Snotlings would
That's
be
okay.
okay because you could take a
You know
couple
what?
of the positionals.
Yeah, you have like your still to actually score stuff.
Dude, flinger or two.
Yeah.
Couple of flingers.
Like, how many squares wide is the sevens pitch?
1, 2, 9. 11,
Okay.
11. I forgot the other side. Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
not
so
it's not a
that's
massive
enough
footprint.
width.
I don't know. I think snotlings with a giant in sevens would
Yeah,
be
I
really
think that
interesting.
works, yeah.
Because you got
I think that's
swarming
okay.
as well. So you'd be running like 9 dudes on a pitch. One of them could be a fungus flinger, and the other is a giant. I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right. Well, it's not viable in sevens, but it is viable in 11s, and we always love to see a giant. And I'm hoping we're going to see a bunch of fen beasts on both days as well. Who is odd man in for the tournament this time around? Whose turn is it?
Well, you're going to do sevens.
I'm going to do sevens.
Yeah.
Which I'm super excited about.
I don't know if have you decided that.
We
I'm happy
haven't.
to do it. I love that.
So-
So I'm happy to go.
Yeah.
But you do the paperwork pretty handily, Milton. So we'll see. I guess we'll just rock up on the day. We might end up taking it in turns. Who knows?
Well,
Yeah,
if you're going to rock up
can
on the
do.
day, make sure that the roster is submitted in 2 weeks' time, please.
No, I like to give Milton the sweats.
Yeah.
I can imagine the group
Beating
chat
your
now.
door down at like 6 o'clock in the morning on the
Print
day
your
of the
roster,
tournament.
man. Yeah. The worst I did was, I think, when Saxby and I went up to play in Birmingham, we played one of the Stunty Cups, and we didn't realise, this was like one of our first 2 ever tournaments, we didn't realise you had to send your rosters in beforehand. So I just got a message from Sean, the guy running it, like Friday night, saying, could you send your roster in? Didn't see it till Saturday, so I sent in my roster minutes before leaving the house on the day of the tournament. That was like my very first tournament, and well, we had a little polite chat, and yeah, he was kind of like, yeah, it was quite entertaining. I do not like the idea of that. I think that's probably stuck in my mind as being like, this is why we want rosters in early. Let's check it out. Let's go forward. I ran a wicked skink stunty roster with Slibbly, the guy with guard, the Saurus with guard.
Lizardman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the old edition. That was wicked. That was a great roster. And actually, the match play guide does have a bit about stunty cups in there and how you can
Yeah, it
use
does.
lizards, which I did quite like the look of that. Anyway, Beachhead is coming up in 30 days. We won't be streaming this one. Just internet and the location. We're not ready for that. But so we'll be playing instead. So it sounds like BT might be running Odd Man In on the Saturday, and I'll be definitely running Odd Man In on the Sunday. It's going to be, I don't know, might put a vote up and get people to choose what team I'm going to run. Or I'll just run Skaven, which will be fine. Skaven or Underworld. But yeah, so that's it for Bonehead News at the moment. And we've got a few Blood Bowl bits. First of all, Bryce the Slice. Do you remember that we were missing Bryce the Slice?
Yeah.
I was convinced he was out. I remember this. He was like, he's not out. I swear he was out. But I was thinking the other undead dwarf. Not dwarf, the other undead guy who is a dwarf.
Scroll.
Flames. Yeah. I think it's because he has flames on his armor. That's why I was getting like cool, like, oh, it's the flaming undead guy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the model for Bryce the Slice has been revealed. He's the skeleton chainsaw guy who's Ghost Rider, but instead of a bike, he has a chainsaw, which is cool. What do you think of the model?
it's very busy.
Milton is shaking his head there.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't think it does it for me
I
either.
love the artwork. Actually, Bryce is the artwork. I think it. I don't know whether the 2020 artwork's the same as the 2016 artwork, but when he came out in the 2016 edition, the artwork was like one of my favorite Bubble Star Player art. And I just don't feel like the mini really captures that particularly. I don't dislike it enormously. I mean, it's fine, and it fits in with the aesthetic of the undead team. You know, it's got that same sort of armor and everything, but
I
think the flames are just weirdly positioned. Like they're too obscuring the model, aren't they?
it's
And
tough.
it kind of
The flames are almost too thick, and I don't know. It could
Yeah.
just be the paint job that they've given.
Maybe.
I actually think the paint job. There's a couple of things I really do like about it. I like the the chest, like the middle of the chainsaw being made out of a rib cage and a spine. I think that's awesome.
That is cool.
And the paint job is really good. Like the armor's beautiful, the chipping on the metal on the chainsaw is really nice. But the green stuff just kind of makes it look, it just looks like Flubber. It looks like if Flubber was a chainsaw wielder in Blood Bowl, this is what you'd get. I mean, Flubber's a great film.
That makes me sad because it makes me think. Yeah, Flubber is a great film. I've not watched that in a long time.
I haven't even thought about it
throwback
in a long time until just they've used Flubber to animate this skeleton with a chainsaw. It's cool. I mean, Bryce falls into the trap, I think, of like Rumbelow and all that, where if you wanted a model for him, you've already found one. I mean, Punga do a great one. I think Grebo might do one. I know that Brute Fun does a great one. So it's kind of like if you wanted a chainsaw skeleton, you've found one, or kit bashed one by now. So it's tough, but I mean, this is from Spike 11, so that was 2020. So this is taken over 2 years to land.
Yeah, he's like the only one left, isn't he?
He is the oldest gap missing. Then the next one is Grashnak from 13. Grashnak Blacktooth.
Grashnak had a model.
That's Brute Fun.
Oh, okay.
Good old Brutey. It does a really good job of this, and people are like, "I thought the model was out for that. Everyone uses them." Like,
right.
No.
That'd be why then.
No, that's just Brute Fun.
I think like you're saying, he's. Well, I don't think I've ever seen anyone use Bryce.
Oh, I got him. He used against. Right, let me try that again as a complete sentence with words. I played against Adam Pike in the Entoyment League. He's running Necro, and he ran Bryce a slice, and with his special ability that allows him to blitz at +4 for one per half, I think, or one per game, immediately took out my brand new shiny Rat Ogre. Like, literally, opening play of the game, he just ransacked in there. +4 to armor rolls when making a chainsaw action as part of a blitz, and I was just wandered in there, +4 to the die roll, and nuked my Roger. So he's pretty good. I mean chainsaws are pretty good.
Yeah, they can be.
Fortunately, then he was gone. So, and that was it for the game, which is a really tough thing. They're just like a better wizard, really, aren't they?
Yeah,
potentially.
He's a cool mini, and like it'd be nice to see him like the actual physical model.
Oh,
I think you're right. I think like if you could change the paint job up a bit on that, like maybe tone down the green or do blue flames or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say Nyalacox. Like, what I can do for you is pre-order it when it's released, build it, and then never have ever paint it. So I can at least get you. I can get you a look at that along with all those star players up there. I found Gretchen unpainted in a box while I tidied up the shed last week. I was like, oh, cool, yeah, never, ever, ever going to use that model. Anyway, Bryce has been spoiled. Hasn't been released yet, but what has been released in the last week are two models that a lot of people thought were already out as well because of Brute Fun, and that is Scrapper and Nobbler, the two Goblin star players. I don't think we've talked about these models on the pod, have we?
I think we touch on them because I think we touched on Scrapper in the last one.
Yeah, they were spoiled in the back of the almanac.
Yeah, it was when we did the Entoyment pod, the live one. We did touch on them briefly.
We did.
Yeah. And we were basically saying how you can get better models for cheaper from Rupert.
Yeah, this is a really tough one. I actually I really like the Nobbler sculpt that they've done. I think it looks properly like 4th edition Warhammer because he's got the chainmail and he's got the little belt buckle with the skull on. I love that model.
Color scheme as well is
it's so good.
Proper.
Scrapper, great model, but really replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Goblin on the stick.
Exactly. Goblin on a stick.
Yeah.
And again, I really like the Brute Fun ones. The Brute Fun ones are just awesome. So, I mean, I've got these pre-ordered. So
I think you'll buy them if you want to buy into the aesthetic of the Games Workshop team. So I think that's where the Forge World ones work really well. Is if you've got the Goblin team and you want to kind of blend them in really easily.
I feel like with these two in particular, they aren't really that Goblin aesthetic. Like these two are so unique.
He's really unique, isn't he? This guy, I don't know. I think Scrapper is quite. Well, he's got no armor compared to the Games Workshop one.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
so I feel like you can use anything, and it's just as appropriate. Yeah, I know. I'm always a little bit biased towards Forge World because it's like these models are great. I just wish they weren't so expensive for what they are. I think that's always,
£500 and
yeah, I think that's always why I have a little bit of cynicism towards the Forge World releases. But the models objectively are, in a vacuum, very nice. I do like them a lot.
Yeah, they're good fun. They're good fun sculpts.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go see if we've got the Goblin star players. First of all, to see how much they are. Oh, interesting. Forge World's got all the plastic teams as well, which is quite useful. Wow, the Troll is £20. Wow, the Tree Man's £20.
why are they more expensive?
I don't think they are. I think that's how much they are now.
Oh,
So I'm on the Forge World website. Where are the Goblin dudes?
Have they stopped doing them?
goblins are just on the left there, aren't they?
Oh, no. I don't want the... Oh,
stars.
am I on the Games
you want
Workshop website?
stars? Yeah.
That's annoying. I went to Forge World. How? Oh, it opens up into a new window if you click Blood Bowl. All right, that's incredibly useful. There we go.
There you go.
That Croxagore is good. I just thought it might be worth looking at those goblins. So the goblin contraptions. I've never really looked at the Pogo Goblin from this set.
Yeah.
I mean, Scrapper's much better than that guy.
Yeah.
How much is a full goblin team if you're going to go?
It was quite funny doing the top 5 teams of like the top 5 most expensive teams or something like that. And I think Sam Garner did the maths on the goblin team, didn't he? He was like, so you need a box of goblins, then you need 2 trolls. So how much is a team? Like 30 quid, then 2 trolls, that's 40 quid. Then 50 quid's worth of special weapons. So it's well over £100 if you want to get a Games Workshop team.
Yeah, and chances are, if you're going to a tournament with them, you're probably going to be running a star or two, aren't you?
You can't not really, I think. Yeah, interesting one. Anyway, those guys are released, and then did we have another bit of news? We did. The match play guide came out, but I guess we should hold fire and have a chat about that. But I wasn't expecting the match play guide. I mean, I read a thing that said it was coming, but wasn't really fast. But Kickstarter wise, there's nothing else going on, which is kind of nice at the moment. Like everyone needs.
They're all arriving. Like this is like the season for Kickstarter arrivals. I've had 2 deliveries this week from Kickstarter. I've had a friend who got 2 more games this week. Don't know what's going on. So, I mean, in terms of Blood Bowl, yeah, it's a bit fine. But in terms of Kickstarter in the tabletop scene,
That's
January's the time.
Wonderful news.
Yeah.
I'm also. I think is with Kickstarter. Ben, you're the biggest proponent of this I can think of. It's kind of fire and forget with Kickstarter.
100%. Oh yeah, gotcha.
I don't even
The
know.
javelin missile of hobby spending.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm waiting for anymore. Like, there's just going to be
Yeah, no,
games
me
that turn
neither.
up.
Then it just shows up. You get the shipping notification. You're just like, oh, that's
I
arriving.
forgot I ordered that. Yeah.
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 Great.
I
I love
got a
it.
bunch of stuff coming. Anyway, in Blarmanek. Goodbye, telephone. It'll be fine. Yeah, Blood Bowl news. That basically wraps it up. So we are going to have a quick chat about hobby, and we can find out just what's been delivered to Ben's house. Okay, so hobby games, what you've been building, what you've been buying, what's occurring.
Milton's been building.
Milton has
I've been building a lot.
building some serious stuff.
Well, I had to take quiet reflection on. I don't want to call it a problem. What did you call it earlier? Your pile of
Opportunity. It's important
opportunity
to put a positive spin on it.
Yeah. So I don't want to call it a New Year's resolution either. It's just a resolution that I'm not allowed to buy any minis until I've built everything I've got and I've painted at least 3 teams. So I've got a lot of Blood Bowl unbuilt. I've built, what have I built? Tree Man, Kurnoth Tree Man, Chaos Warriors, Khorne Bloodseekers, Halflings, Wood Elves, half an Inquisitor, a Space Marine, some Amazons. Still got to build 2 sets of Black Orcs, a set of Orcs, some Star players.
Why 2 sets of Black Orcs?
You know what we were talking about eBay earlier? Someone was selling the Black Orc sprue, and there was like 1 goblin missing off it or something, and it was like £5, and I was like, I'm having this. It's like,
despite already having an unbuilt Black Orc.
well, yeah, exactly. Despite already having one unbuilt there. What else is there?
It's only a good deal if you need it, Milton. It's only a good deal if you need it.
But when the value is so good, it's just kind of like I actually have an unbuilt on sprue nobility team, just like on the red plastic somewhere in the cupboard as well.
I'm sure I had plans at the time. I'm sure there was some project that kind of popped into my mind. I was like,
the Games Workshop Black Orc team is brilliant, and those Black Orcs
is a good kit.
Just gagging to be 40KI'd as well.
Yeah, I mean, like they'll probably either go like some of them will go into my College of Metal, and then I'll like, I don't know, maybe use some as like proxy biggins or something.
Yeah.
And then what else have I got? I've got a couple of rock gut troggoths.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
those
best
need to be built.
The best of the Games Workshop trolls by far.
And then I've been painting my Fen Beast.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's been fun. And then tournament prep. So started tournament prep. So that's been good. Kind of had a bit of a rundown, shakedown of the roster builder.
Yeah, oh dude,
good.
You did a ton of work for that. I massively appreciate it.
I think that's been about it for me for hobby.
Well, given that we're only 11 days into the new year, that's not bad, dude.
I have been pretty productive.
Yeah,
I'm pretty happy with it. I've got to keep that momentum.
Whoa. Yeah, I think just doing stuff is a remarkably wonderful feeling, which I've found recently. Anyway, Ben is currently painting. We can see that he's painting, and we know that he's not painting Necrons.
Yeah, it's done. That was delivered over the Christmas period. It felt amazing. They're out. I'm free, and I've been painting. I've been enjoying it, man. I've been really enjoying it. I've painted most of this, which is a War Boss on bike from RTLW. He's nearly done.
Cool.
Yeah, just need to highlight him. Doing Crusaders and Friends. He's my leader. I've painted a Chaos Dwarf theme, or that's currently what I'm finishing off now with the bases.
That's what you're working on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for League, because that starts on Tuesday. Very exciting. And also for some super secret future thing. And yeah, what else have I painted? Oh, Frosthaven. I've painted a couple of starters from Frosthaven, because that was one of the Kickstarters that arrived. Yeah, it's me and Alison are going to crush that. I painted one of our 2 characters. 2 of the characters. But yeah, one of them's like 2. But yeah, whatever.
Because you guys absolutely loved Gloomhaven, didn't you?
Yeah. I never finished it because we're always playing it with friends, and it's really hard to the game is long, really long. So with Frosthaven, we are going to just power through as like 2, as just a pair, and do it like twice a week or something, and just try and like blitz it. Yeah, got my name in the back of the book from playtesting.
I know,
which
that's
is really
so
nice.
good. That was so cool to see.
Yeah, so that was really fun. Yeah, hobby's really good. Oh, and I'm going to a tournament next month. I haven't told the guys about this because I only agreed to do it about an hour ago.
Ooh.
So DICE in Portsmouth are hosting a tournament at the Guildhall. It's at the Guildhall Games Fest in Portsmouth on the 4th of February. It's week before Beachhead.
Oh, amazing.
There's a Blood Bowl tournament there. And there's currently 90 tickets left. So if you listen to this and there's tickets left, that's going. And I'll be there. I haven't read the other guys in just yet, but I'll try.
Yeah, I saw that posted earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can swing the 2 weekends, but it was really tempting.
Yeah, it's understandable.
It's actually quite a short journey for me. It's just like sit on the ferry and then I'm there, pretty much parked up outside.
I think that's Tiff's weekend in. Actually, I think that's Tiff's weekend working. So if it's a one-dayer, I could probably swing across too. Yeah.
Saturday one day, 1100 TV, 4 tiers.
4 tiers.
They split tier 2. Yep. There's 1 skill difference between the 2. I think it's 7, 6, 5, 4 in terms of.
Wow. Steep.
So who's dropping down? Like Nurgle?
I could tell you. Let's go. I think I'm going to run the new Chaos Dwarfs though. Going to swing out all the new goodies.
Hack from Chaos Dwarfs for Ben there.
Yeah, try some super cheesy roster that I would never take to our own tournament. Yeah, so tier 1 is Amazon, Chaos Dwarf, Dark Elf, Dwarf, High Elf, Lizardman, Norse, Undead, Skaven, Underworld, Wood Elf. It's a normal tier 1. Then tier 2, Black Orc, Elven Union, Human, Imperial Nobility, Necromantic, Orc, Vampire, and Slan. Tier 3, interesting, Snotlings, Tomb Kings, Nurgle, Khorne, Chaos Chosen, Chaos Renegade, Old World Alliance. Tier 4, Goblins, Halflings, Ogres. They've boosted Snotlings up to tier 3 and dropped Tomb King, Nurgle, Khorne, Chaos, and OWA.
Is there star player tax?
Let me see. Doesn't look like. Oh yeah, no. Loses 2 skill points per star induced.
Okay.
Now you see, you can't boost up Snotlings and take away, like, there's no point. Snotlings are only good because of star player access.
Yeah.
That's unwise, in my opinion. That just makes Snotlings garbage tier.
But it does, yeah. So tier 4 get 11 skill points.
Oh my god.
Tier 3 get 8. Tier 2 gets 7. Tier 1 gets 6.
Wow.
Right, this might be a tier 1 tournament. What's the TV, Ben? 1200 as well?
1100.
1100.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So low TV with extra skills. I mean,
Oh, hang on, no. So skill points. There's not skills. There's skill points. Primary is costing 1. Secondary is costing 2. Oh, yeah, match play. There we go. Yeah. Oh, we'll go into that. 'Cause-
Yeah. Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
interesting.
It will be interesting. But I do think tier 1 have quite an advantage here.
So what's that, like 3 weeks away?
No.
Yeah.
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 Oh man, February is like right there.
Yeah.
Ben, I want to read you a comment from the comments bit of the Boney submissions, because it is the bit that is best Bonehead Podcast episode / highlight. It's my favourite bit. Every time Bloodtithe thinks he's finished painting Necrons and then paints more Necrons. So I think it's just a good shout out to Adam for that one. Shout out to the Idle Games Club in Paynton, South Devon. And that's Adam. And I thought that was just awesome that you have actually finished Necrons, Ben.
This week he emailed saying just like, so I've got some more Necrons. I just had to be like, no. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
They dropped that video, didn't they, for Nexus Pariah? And I was like, is this like a new Necron box set?
Ready to go. No, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, you brewing up the Chaos Dwarves and being able to take them out to tournament, I think is pretty awesome. That must be really lovely after spending like 2 years painting something that wasn't yours.
Liberating. Yeah, liberating. It's not like, to be fair, it's not like I didn't enjoy it. I always did enjoy it. But it's just like, I don't know. It just feels like I've spent a long time just like having obligations to do everything, because I'm one of these people that if I don't have a deadline, I won't do it. So I like making deadlines for myself because then I get a lot of stuff done. But yeah, I've kind of just I've wiped the slate clean of like every obligation I had, and now I don't have to do anything. And apart from this, like if I don't come to this, Ben, like, you know, breaks my legs. But yeah, like I don't know, it just feels really good. It feels really good. So yeah,
that's
positive
awesome.
Hobby positivity right now.
So hobby for me, actually got a couple of games of Blood Bowl in the last 24 hours, which is pretty nice. I got to see Craig. Craig came to club. This was like in one of those sci-fis or like fantasy shows where like a character from one of the first seasons like shows up and you're like, oh my god, they're back. It's amazing. It's just like a cameo, and it's so cool. So I got to play a nice game of Blood Bowl yesterday against Craig. Now, I thought he was bringing Norse, so I was like, right, well, I'll run the Skaven, because Skaven versus Norse I don't think is a great matchup. And then Craig busted out some beautifully painted 2nd edition elves, and I was like, I feel bad for bringing Skaven now. So Elven Union, 1 million, and yeah, it was great to sit down and play some Blood Bowl with him again. It was one of his first games back into the game, and gutters are just oppressive.
And is lost by the sounds.
No. It was a chill out coaching game.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, cool, you could do that, but if you push him this way instead, you can swing around and lock him in place. And then I blitzed him with a gutter runner, and the ball came out, and I picked up and scored a third touchdown. So it was a cheeky 3-1. He got a touchdown at the end of the night, and it was just cool to see him. It was cool to see everyone at club as well. The club was busy yesterday. I had to park down the road. Like there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 games of Blood Bowl and stuff going on.
Good considering the league hasn't started yet.
Well, everyone's brewing up, ready for the first week of league next week. So that's pretty cool. And talking of league, I had a game against Jack at the Entoyment League. We had a game match. The game booked in before Christmas, but Jack was poorly, so we had to delay. And this was round 4, and it was against Nobility, and it was really cool. It was really good fun. A lovely guy. Turns out he also works for JLP, so that was quite cool. So started off, good weather, nice fan factor. He had about 120k, so he took an extra reroll because it's Nobility, and you guys know what Nobility like. They are a slow brew team, so he took his third reroll, and then elected to receive, so I kicked the ball to him, and he played good offense. I put pressure on, and he scored after turn 2, so went down 1-0. Then I got the ball back and then went down and scored in a couple of turns, and then it got Skaven-y. I kicked back to him after scoring, and I think this is it was either this one or the third touchdown I scored. The scatter was like 6-4 and just went flipping right along to 1 square away from the front line. Landed on one of his guys who failed to catch it, so it bounced into the tackle zone of my Rat Ogre, who was deployed on the line, and Buzz Justice. So he then tried to pick up the ball, failed because of the tackle zones, and then we scooped it up and took it in for our second touchdown. And then I can't remember what happened. I think it might have been the third, or I don't know. But then picked up the ball and scored at the end of the first half. So they went into the second half 3-1 up, but I'd lost a couple of guys. So I was starting to run out of Skaven. So I received on the second half, thinking, right, cool, might be able to score 4 here. This would be pretty cool. Blitzed up the right hand side. Jack had done a really good job adjusting his deployment for defense, and was able to scoop round and put an end cap on my kind of side screen, and it was just kind of like a couple of fluffed rolls and some good placement by him, and it just led to, sadly, 2 of my gutters, including the ball carrier, being surfed off the board.
It was a surf that did it.
Yeah, because it was like, right, that's fine, we can move this guy around, I bring him up 2-die blitz or something like that, and it was just like skull or something, and it kind of emptied the resilience there. They got caught, and they got pushed, and they got surfed, and I got a miss next game on one of the guys. A niggling injury on another guy. It took a couple.
Yeah, that's going to be tough for your next game, isn't it?
Nah, it'll be fine.
It's just 2 gutters, right?
Oh, no. I've got a plan.
Oh,
it's fine. Got a plan.
Okay.
So my star thrower, who on the ball and accurate, is just fantastic little combination. I have a different theory now, though, with Skaven throwers, and I think I'm going to try this in my next season with Skaven. Skaven aren't in BB3 yet, are they? They're not in the launch pack.
Are they not? They're not.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, won't be trying it in Blood Bowl 3, which is just saving up SPP on the Skaven thrower and just boosting movement. I actually really fancy a movement 8 or movement 9 Skaven thrower, because that movement is just awesome. They're passing 2+. They've got sure hands. I don't know. I'm contemplating it. Anyway, yeah. So my star thrower is out. Both the gutter runners are out, but I've got 195,000 in my treasury at the moment. So basically, depending on how the next match plays out, so we've got a 7s mini cup in this league at the same time. So if I can play my 7s game before my 11s game, all my missed next games come back. If my 7s game is after my 11s game, then I'm going to have to bin off one of the gutters, and I've already prepped for that. So one of my gutters is a block gutter, so I took a random mutation because I was like, well, look, he's missed next game and niggling injury. I'll just spend the points, take a random mutation. If it's 2 heads or very long legs or extra arms or something, I'll be like, cool, I'll keep him and I'll wait. But he rolled claws, so I've got a block claw gutter runner. So I think
That's an interesting choice.
I think he's going to get fired, so
Yeah.
I can have 3 gutter runners for the next game, and then I'm going to pick up a vanilla thrower.
Makes sense.
Ready for the next 11, so I can play. But I'm 5-0 with them now, which is wicked. They're having a really good run. I went, so I've got 12 touchdowns against 6, and the way the league is scored is a bit peculiar. But I'm sitting at the top at 21 points in my little group, which is cool. So yeah, loving the Skaven at the moment. It's really nice to just play Skaven to not necessarily to win, but just to I guess I am playing to win. I'm kind of like, no, I want to dust them off. I want to dust them off and play some good Blood Bowl, because that season of Black Orcs was slow. It was really slow.
You didn't do bad. You did very well.
Yeah, I got to the semi-finals, but
Why did you feel it was slow?
because they're all movement 3, so
You like just rushing the ball down the end, don't you? And
just-
they don't do that very well. So.
no, I just like. It's really horrible. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to me as a child, but I just like that position of just being able to just wait for my opponent to mess up and then coup de grace. I don't know if it was because like I don't know whether it was because of doing Krav Maga. This is a case of weakness, opening, murder. And it's kind of how it is with Skaven, isn't it? It's like, right, I'm going to pressure, wait. Oh, you dropped the ball. That's mine now, and touchdown.
One mistake and they just score. So,
Which so far the team's been able to do, which is good, and it's just great fun to pick them out. So loving that. It was nice to get some Skaven games in, and then Wobble Summer Cup is coming up. I've got to redraft the Black Mountain Buccaneers.
So you're going to do Black Caucus again, are you?
Yeah.
There?
It's I was going to do Amazons, but to use Milton's description of Bryce, the Amazon team is fine.
I disagree. I really like them.
It upsets me that the blockers and the blitzers look the other way around, and neither of them look strength 4. So it's just kind of like I can't do it. I like the snake lady who looks like she's from an 80s power metal music video, or from Wayne's World. I'm like, I like that bit, which has now led to me like every time I look at a team or something, I'm like, oh, exciting! I could use that to be my Amazon team. I think I'm just going to bring back the Black Mountain Bucks, because Grot Brady with his pro frenzy deserves another go. I mean, we've got a week to go, so I'll probably go through like 3 more teams before then.
Yeah.
And my last bit of hobby is, lads, building the Jungle Bowl.
Oh,
I'm waiting for this.
I'm super excited about this. There'll be a video go up very shortly to kind of prep for this, but next weekend we will be playing a game at Entoyment. We've booked out the RPG room all day, and we're going to be playing a 4-player game of Death Bowl 7s. This was Milton's idea last year. I don't know how it came about, Milton, but I'm sure you suggested this one. I'm blaming you for this one.
I'm super excited. Well, it was because of the Mud and Blood.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, so the Mud and Blood Kickstarter with the 3D printable pictures, and he, as a stretch goal, had Death Bowl.
Yeah, he did.
Which
Yeah,
we don't have quite yet. That's not been released, has it? We've had an update recently from him with a few extra bits and pieces, but the Death Bowl's not in it yet. But you have.
Well, I was well impatient.
Yeah.
So yeah, I grabbed.
You've outdone yourself.
Aztec.
The Marmite thing had me in stitches. Like,
Yeah, I'm just
so spot on.
just grabbing the pictures so I can show them on the screen. But I mean, I loved the Aztec pitch. So I grabbed the STLs. I used 3D Builder to cut them open and slimline them down to what we needed. I used a random STL website to get the Bonehead Podcast logo, and chuck it on and make a little tile with our logo on it for the middle of the pitch, which is pretty cool. And because I was like, I was really excited to do a Death Bowl pitch, but they couldn't have it ready. Oh, where's the picture? Can't find the picture. There it is. There we go. Right, let's download that. And then
there's a couple of formats of the game I've certainly not played, like Street Bowl, Death Bowl. Obviously, we have Dungeon Bowl now, don't we? So that's it's been played quite a bit now. So yeah, it'd be really good fun to try this out.
We did Street Ball Ben, didn't we? Using Roll20.
Oh, we did.
okay.
God, that was a good time. Yeah, I remember that.
Going back a bit.
What did we play?
Their Street Ball pitch looked really good. That's definitely on the cards. I think we'll do Street Ball maybe later this year.
Okay.
Because it looks a lot of fun.
Is Roll20 the one where we did the RPG?
Yeah.
That was good.
During the
I like
apocalypse, finding other ways to game. So this was the start of the pitch. So this was when I first got my Saturn. I really it's me. So I cowboyed it. Was like, let's see how big we can print. 7 squares. You can print 7 squares by 6 if you print it vertically. So I managed to print this in 1, 2, 3, 4 prints and the center zone as well, which was wicked. And you know what I'm like when I get my little printing spreadsheet on the go, that took like 2 days to print. A lot of resin, but I've hollowed the heck out of it. So when I came to building it, I had to stuff it with like bits of cardboard and War Master bases and obviously filler.
War Master bases.
Yeah, they're perfect.
It's not a Ben project if you don't use something that's like
And
way unnecessarily like, you know, it's a product, it's a usable thing, but that you could probably substitute for something like trash. But Ben has to use something quite expensive and nice.
They were only MDF laser cut.
I know, so they're still usable MDF bases.
Yeah, I've got a whole box of them because I tidied up, and then I've now got like 2 Quality Street tins worth of random boxes, and most of them are MDF laser cut bases. The smell, actually, you can see in the top of the picture there.
Oh yeah,
War Master base.
Really
It never goes, does it?
No,
It never fades. It doesn't matter what you do to it. You can always smell the laser cut.
wake
smell
up
of a burnt
smelling
home.
it. So then I used 3 tubs of Agaros Dunes.
Yeah, not a single pot of Agrax.
No, not yet. Anyway, and yeah, so in Toyment we're closed for stock take. So Tiff and I we had a couple of days off together this week, and we went to the Tank Museum Monday because I love tanks. I got a new mug that says I love tanks, which I'm very happy about. So I got to go around and touch all the tanks. That was nice. Talking of good smells, Tank Museum. Oh man, the smell, the smell of cold oil and metal. It's just magnificent.
Iron, yeah.
The plan was to swing by in Toyment on the way back, and I was going to get a can of brown primer, a can of desert yellow, and then Agrax. And they were closed, so I was like, oh, okay. So I put the bitch together yesterday, and something Ian had said a couple of weeks ago, jokingly, was like, just use contrast, in the funny way Ian does. And I was like, actually, you know what? I'm about to spend 30 quid on tins of paint, and then... So I just went down to Games Workshop and bumped into Games Workshop Southampton. There's a guy who works there called Pete, who's a really lovely guy. And I walked in there, and he was like, hello, mate, you know what you're looking for? And I was like, yes, I'm looking for this contrast paint. He was like, you got a name? I was like, yes, Agaros Dunes or Skeleton Horde. I'm not sure what I need. And he was wonderful. He opened the case. He got both the different versions out and was like, this is this. Which one do you think you fancy? And I was like, I think the more yellow is going to be better. And he was like, cool. What are you going to dry brush it with? I was like, whatever you people call bleach bone now. And he was like, yeah, you could. There's this one here though, which is a bit more yellow. I was like, all right, sold. I'll take 2 of those, and I'll take 4 of the contrast paints, and I'll take some black. And then he was like, oh, you get a free paint. I was like, well, I might as well get white because it's only going to last 2 weeks anyway. He was like, yeah, sucks. But really lovely guy, really helpful, helped me choose all my paints. And then the Marmite layer went on. And I did a bad job. I literally poured the paint onto the pitch. I got a video of this. I've set up one of the PTZ overheads so I can do a speed video of me building it and painting it. And yeah, literally
like gravy,
dribbling it on. Yeah, I even did like the zigzag thing. Actually, you know what? It wasn't like gravy. It looked like the fancy jus they use in MasterChef that has no purpose. And then left it a big splodgy Marmite mess.
I like it.
And
it's
then
like a giant twiglet.
Yeah, oh yes, exactly. And now I was looking at it and I was like, this looks a bit rubbish. Like, I'm a bit worried. So just before the podcast, instead of prepping or making tea, I randomly was like, I need to dry brush this to make sure this is okay. At like 7:45, I'm like, right, there was like, or whatever it was, like 7 o'clock. I was like, all right, I need to go out. I need to take a print out, swap it over, get the graphics ready for the podcast. And then I stood in the lounge looking at it and I was like, I could just try just a little bit, just to dry brush a little bit. So I dry brushed a quarter of it to see if it would work. And actually the dry brush is massively helping.
Oh, it's enormous.
amazing.
It's really good. Like, it's that perfect, like worn jungle kind of.
Worn sandstone, isn't it?
Yeah, that's worn sandstone temple kind of look. Looks really good.
So yeah, got the vines there as the sideline markers. There's a few gaps, but I've got this that I found while I was tidying up, which is bushes from Model Zone, £4.50. So that was a shop that used to be in Dibden Purley. But it's like little clumps of foliage. It's clump foliage.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be perfect. So I can use that to cover up anything that I've missed, any gaps or things that look a bit rubbish, to give a nice bit of like mix in. Paint up the vines, paint like, I don't know, silver or gold on the little trapdoors that look like sewer grates. Like, fine with that. And then we've got the Bonehead plinth in the middle that I'm super chuffed with.
It's gonna look mint. I love it. I'm
It's
well
really
excited.
good. So good.
It's gonna look
As
really
soon
good
as
fun.
as soon as the plant goes like that dry brush like change is so big.
Yeah.
I think this is like a proper like good example of, you know, when you always paint something that has like that ugly phase, you're just like, oh, I don't know this. But if you just persevere and try something else, it can just like, this looks great now.
Yeah, genuinely speaking, if you dry brush anything with a bone color, it just looks much better.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah, if in doubt, dry brush bone. Yeah,
and it's worked. So there's this little smudgy thing over there that upsets me. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. Maybe I could burn it out. No, I think I'm going to leave it. It's going to be fine. There's one brown splodgy patch. I'm just going to have to make sure that when we film it, that the camera doesn't point directly at it. Filming this is going to be quite entertaining. Like the actual camera angles of a 4-player game, it's going to be a good challenge.
I'm excited. Yeah.
We should all wear head cams.
Oh my god, yeah.
The problem is we could do that and we could plug it all in, but it would look very, very like
Wasn't a serious suggestion.
cyberpunk. That would just be really entertaining. That would actually be hilarious.
Bonehead VR.
Yeah, that'd be wicked. Play the game through our eyes. Anyway, that's my hobby stuff. So I'm off again tomorrow. Tis working, so I'm gonna finish painting it up, and then probably leave it 90% finished until next Friday night before we record on the Saturday. So looking forward to that. That's good. And then I've got 2 dungeons to do after that, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah,
So,
for Dungeon Bowl.
Be cool.
yeah, really looking forward to that. Anyway, guys, any more hobby goodness?
I think I've exhausted that.
All right.
Good.
I think it's good. I think we're making a good start to the year. So let's bounce to the match player guide. Ready, Ben, for the Bonehead Podcast.
Oh, okay.
And it's time for
I don't know if my
unboxing
language is
review.
appropriate for this
I
segment.
think it would be fair to say that. All right, let's pause that because that seems a little bit unnecessary. Now there's 2 Bens. That's creepy, isn't it? But anyway, we're just gonna bring up the match play guide video that I've done to have in the background while we're talking through it, so I can flip through the pages. But one of my YouTube feed was rage about the open game license from D&D. What are your thoughts, Ben?
Just, it's such an example of a company that has no idea what they do. And it's just like, this decision must have been made by someone who's never once played D&D or like rolled a die or anything. It's like, okay, right, we have our system, which has been massively popularized. We've raked in so much money. Critical Role, like, single-handedly sold the game, along with Stranger Things, along with like all of this cultural impact. So many people are making things for our game. People are buying our books. Let's end that by making sure no one wants to play D&D anymore. And so no one's going to buy our supplementary books. And it's just like, what? For context, what they've done is they've said people who want to use 5e like content, essentially. So if you're making like a source book that uses 5e rules, which has previously been allowed under the Open Gaming License, if you now want to produce that, Wizards, or is it Hasbro? I can't remember. I think it was Hasbro.
Yeah, Hasbro.
They're gonna take, I believe it was 25% of your gross revenue.
What?
So that's before you even make profit. So you could produce these things at, like, let's say you're printing a book, probably don't make that much money after all your printing, shipping, administrative costs, and they're going to take 25% before you even made money.
I thought it was a threshold. I thought there was a threshold to it.
I think it was actually. I think it's if you make over a certain amount. I think
there
it was
a lot of like prima nocte jokes going around. Oh,
really?
All you have to do is pay like 20% of your profit, or
yeah.
or prima nocte. That's a Braveheart reference. Yeah. Yes, baffling. I love the idea of the open game license. I think it's genius.
It's so good. Like loads of people play D&D because it's so easy to get into because you can do so much with it.
Yep.
And then it just means people are making content for a game that people are already familiar with. They're just getting more of it, and people still buy D&D stuff. Like
you got to buy the rule books and stuff, right? You've got to.
Exactly. Like someone could do like a campaign book. Like I'm going to use Fate Forge as a good example because that's one I'm really into. Got a load of Fate Forge book. I'm still going to be getting D&D reference guides, and it still uses stuff like the Player's Handbook or like the Monster Manual. It doesn't replace it; it just expands on it, and it costs them nothing.
Yeah,
it's not like they're taking away from it. It costs them nothing for free publicity and marketing. It's crazy.
I did watch a great little video where this bloke was just like, just don't call it D&D. Like you can't trademark game like mechanics, so literally call it dungeons and whatever the heck you want, and then
dice and dogs.
Yeah, there you go. And maybe there was the Kickstarter for little dogs in like adventure poses.
Oh, there was, yeah. It was Punga.
Was it Punga? It might have been Punga.
I think it was actually.
And then just call it something different. I thought it was amusing. I just baffling. It's a very Games Workshop move.
Yeah.
But is this to tie in with the new movie they're making?
With Chris Pine.
I don't know.
With Chris Pine.
Yeah. I think it's a terrible timing, if so, because people are not that happy with D&D. It's like just been such negative publicity.
Did you ever
like Critical Role, man? They started, I think,
this
with
is
Pathfinder.
This is the thing.
And then they did D&D, and it's just like, if Critical Role were having to pay 25% because they're using the D&D license
I just
to sell a product, essentially.
And
they just play a different game.
They'll play a different game, and so will everybody else.
Yeah. Do they know what tabletop gamers are? I think I've heard somewhere where it was like, wow, it's a really good idea to piss off a fan base, which is like creative, passionate, and like willing to like just do their own thing. Like, I did make me think, like, what if Games Workshop did open games license for their products? But they kind of do for some stuff, right? Like the video games are all like open, aren't they?
I'm pretty sure they're all licensed.
Yeah, I think you have.
But I don't know how much you actually have to pay for it.
Maybe.
I think they're pretty liberal with their licensing.
I don't think they used to be. I think they are more now. So I think initially they had a much tighter control on it, didn't they? Because I think I remember like seeing THQ or Relic or whoever made Dawn of War, basically like, we had to make sure that X, Y, Z was, all right. Nowadays, every other mobile game's like a Warhammer flavored.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that. Yeah. But it would be interesting, right? If people were making like content for Warhammer 40k, like campaigns and things like that physically actually.
You mean like animations and things?
No, I'm talking like game stuff. Like if people were making like their own campaign books or like.
I got that reference.
Sorry. Yeah, imagine if people make it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no. I think it's only a matter of time before we get a cease and desist from Games Workshop for something, he says, while the video plays where you can see the entire book behind him. Hey, I'll stop doing it when Guerrilla Miniature Games stops doing it. And they send him stuff free.
Yeah.
So clearly it's fine.
You paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. Clearly it's fine. Anyway, the match play guide was a random drop. Can't remember when it came out. Did it come out this year? Well, it was last Saturday.
It did, yeah.
So just this year. Just this year. So last weekend it arrived. And I guess the best thing to do would be to summarize what's in it, which is not a great deal. It's essentially a book of tournament stuff that you normally get in a tournament pack. It's an ideas book. It's £10. It's direct from Games Workshop, which is unusual for them. I think and it is basically just a tournament rules pack and a guide on how to put together a tournament and some things you need to think about. Like at the core, that's what it is. But there's two spiky things in there. One is the skill points and the other is the mega stars. So Ben, you talked about this and this tournament, Jobby What's It, using that, which is really interesting to see it being used already. So that is quite impressive. Let me skip forward the video. Skill points. Here we go. So skill points. There's kind of been a couple of different ways to do tournaments, right? We've always gone with like X skills, like X normal and Y secondary, right? So you can have 4 normals and a double skill, or you can swap it or whatever. Other tournaments will use SPP. They'll say you've got 36 SPP for tier 1 teams, so you can spend it doing it, which basically works out exactly the same. And I think there is a couple of other ways, but those are the two like most normal ones to do. As TV buy is the other one, isn't it, where you're 1200 including skills, go nuts. And Games Workshop have kind of put together this pack as a really, I do think, a really good starting point for tournaments, for tournament structure. Not even structure, just tournament build. This is all it is. So the skill points, tier 1, 2 and 3. Tier 1 gets 6 skill points, tier 2 gets 8 skill points, and tier 3 gets 10 skill points. And you use them on your team. There's no stacking. Costs 1 point for a primary and 2 points for a secondary skill, but there's additional limitations in that there's like a cap on certain things you can take. So tier 1 gets 6 skill points, no limit on primaries, but they can take up to 1 double skill. So basically you can have 6 normal or 4 normal and a double skill for tier 1. Tier 2 is 8 skill points with a max of 2 secondary skills. So you can have 8 primary, 6 and 1, or 4 and 2, and tier 3 is 10 points with max of 3 secondaries as well. So I mean, if I said to you, right, tier 1 gets 6 primary or 4 and a double, you'd go, yeah, that sounds about right, that's normal. Tier 2, 8, and tier 3, 10. You'd be up to 3 doubles. That, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that feels like most tournaments, like the level of skills available at that point.
It's in that middle ground, isn't it, where like most things kind of sit.
Yeah, that kind of balancing point was kind of like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's what you expect. That's what most tournaments are doing. It sounds like this one in Portsmouth is doing a very similar thing, Ben. I mean, if we look at Beachhead, I can't actually remember how many skills we've got on Beachhead. I think it's probably 5, 6, 7 for tier 1, 2, 3, essentially, with a double, something like that. It's about the same thing. The other thing they introduced, though, is that kind of what I'm calling a star player tax, which we saw in the World Cup rule set. So a star player costs you 2 of your skill points. You've got to spend cash as normal, but if you take a star player, you lose 2 skill points. So tier 1 can have up to 1 star player, tier 2 and 3 can have up to 2 star players, and each star player you take is going to cost 2 of your skills. So tier 1 can have 4 skills and a star, basically. But there's also the Mega Star, and the Mega Star list has been put into the FAQ. We saw that released last week, and some interesting ones on there. I'll bring that up in a bit and we can kind of chat through, but Megastars cost 4 skill points and everybody can take a maximum of 1. A couple of things brewed up in here that weren't answered is whether or not, oh no, it was answered. You can take Megastars and star players on the same roster, but if you can only take 1, you can only take 1 for tier 1s. So, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on the use of skill points and the use of star player tax?
Milton, I've just ranted, so go ahead.
Well, I mean, my initial knee-jerk reaction to it was, what the hell? I was kind of to me, initially, I guess without the wider context, when the kind of the leaks sort of came out around, it wasn't even a leak, was it? It was like a Warhammer community post, or it was an update to the FAQ, wasn't it?
The FAQ had got updated
with the Mega Stone players at the end of it.
Mega Digimon, yeah.
And yeah, I was kind of like, well, it feels a bit arbitrary because they've already got a value. They've got a goal value, and the way that we've structured the tournaments, you sort of you got your tier 1 teams. Generally speaking, the tier 1 teams tend to have relatively expensive players. They tend to have more skills and whatever, and so you're kind of working it in and around that, and then you're kind of adding up the skills. And so I was kind of like, what's the point? I don't really get it. And then I guess it's kind of the conversation kind of went on. I kind of wrapped my head around it a bit more. And actually, I think it's quite a good introduction. I think it's slightly harder for the TOs to look at the rosters when they come in and work out like the point allocation. Because what you've got to do is you can't go, oh, they've just got 4 skills, they got 2 stars, whatever. You've got to go, right, well, to deduct 4 for this star, and then he spent 1 over there and done this and whatever. I mean, it's not massively challenging, but like it's different consideration, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, I think for like a newer player or someone just maybe that like is new to the game, wants to run a tournament, or someone who's got a bit of experience, doesn't really know where to start. It's like a level playing field for everyone, isn't it? You know, you can pick this up. As you say, it's relatively inexpensive. I think it's quite easy to kind of come up with a sort of a list around it. The Megastar thing does still kind of bother me. I'm not 100% happy about it.
I'm just going to read out the Megastars for that one. That's Bomber, Dribble, Snot, Deep Root, Griff, Hackflem, Creek, and Morg. They're all Megastars.
I mean, I don't feel like we're going to see like this change mean that Gretchen's on the field regularly or anything. But like, yeah, I guess to some degree, you know, we've had 2 years now, 3 years, sort of this sort of star player meta. We've seen a lot of it, haven't we, in the tournaments, where the mega stars have been in the sort of top win percentage. You know, like you're talking about your like sort of top 10, top 15. There's been quite a large percentage of those rosters running those star players, and we can see that obviously, you know, they're good. They've changed the meta enormously, and I've no issue with like shaking that up. I don't know whether this is the right way to do it, but I guess it's nice to see a change. And if it kind of lends to, you know, people building different rosters for tournaments, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and that's it. I actually completely agree in that regard. If this is everything you know in the way of Blood Bowl, like, because obviously, like, there's a lot of tournaments going on, and there's a lot of players who've been linked in with the NAF for a really long time, but I mean, the majority of people who are coming into Blood Bowl right now don't know anything about the NAF. They don't know anything about any of the other unofficial things that go on in Blood Bowl. Like, they're playing actual Blood Bowl from actual Games Workshop. So they're like, well, this is the tournament. If this is the match play format, if this is the standard format, I think this gives you enough to play with. And yeah, you get that little bit of complexity, but I think I want to say balance. It does add a little bit of, it cleans up the meta a little without doing too much in the way of complications. And I am I completely get it. We had this when we did the video. Loads of people were like, let's just raise the cost of the star players. Well, you want to be able to use the star players, and that's not, you know, Games Workshop obviously wants to sell star player models, but ultimately, if you've got a Griff or Hackflem, you want to be able to use him. Making Griff 400k just means he will simply never, ever, ever get used. You'll never get to use him. This way, you can run Griff and Dwarfs, but you're going to have no skills. And that's fine. Like, that gives you that option. So this just allows you to have more rosters. And while the roster building bit is a little bit more complex, it's like you said, Milton, it's not the end of the world, but it is an extra kind of like an extra factor. It takes away the onboard complexity, which ultimately I think is much better, because imagine a format with 10 skills and a star player on the pitch. Like, fine for us, right? But first of all, by game 3 or 4, you are going to be burnt. But secondly, if you're going to your first Blood Bowl tournament and someone rocks up and they've got Hackflem and 10 skills, and it's just there's a lot of complexity there. So I do like that kind of balancing factor, because it's kind of like, he does what? What's his special power? What's the skills this guy got? He's got a slightly different coloured elastic band on him. What does that mean?
I'll tell you what he's not got. His sidestep.
Ooh, the 2022 meme. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, BT, you're likely to have to go to this tournament, so if you're going to take Hackflem on your Chaos Dwarf team,
you know I'm not doing that. Ben.
I know you're not doing that. Bomber Dribbles not all the way. Bomber's still a megastar. One thing I did think was quite funny, and someone flagged this immediately. They're like, and where is Cindy? Or Mindy Pie? Or so?
No, right?
It is
Cindy. It's Cindy. Yeah.
The brute
now
model
it's a Cindy
Mindy.
meta.
That's why I got confused. Yeah, so Bomber and Cindy's now affordable. So you're going to see, you know, dwarves with Cindy and 4 skills, that'll do. Block runner, mighty blow trolls there, maybe even a guard lineman instead, and Cindy Pie Whistle. It's going to be wicked.
This doesn't stop the ogre 2 bomber build, does it? No, that's cool.
No, you're good to go. Oh, no, yeah, you're good to go. One's a mega star, one's a regular star. That will cost you 6 of your skill points, though.
2 bombers.
It still sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's interesting. So that is the biggest thing in the match play guide. Like, is the standardizing of Blood Bowl. Now, I public service announcement. This does not change anything you are doing in your club, in your tournaments. It's not going to change the tournaments you're going to. The book itself is super, super pro. Do whatever you want with your tournament, and half of it is literally just dumb ideas for your tournament, including some terrible inducements that you mustn't use unless you are just an absolute masochist, including the end zone trap bomb
trap, yeah.
Oh, which was just like a brutal thing. I was just reading it and I was like, do not do this.
100k or something?
Booby trapped end zone. 100k available to any team for the duration of the game. Whenever an opposition player with a ball moves into a square in your end zone, they must roll a d6. On a 2+, they're fine. On a 1, a booby trap has gone off and they're knocked down. No touchdown is scored.
Wow. Okay, that's fun.
Yeah, maybe don't do that. But I absolutely love, because we're ingrained in Blood Bowl. We've been to a bunch of Blood Bowl tournaments. We've run a bunch of Blood Bowl tournaments. And we've got that experience to be able to know what a good amount of skills and stuff is to do it. And that's where we came to. Our point in our thing is we've got, generally speaking, a slightly lower TV and a slightly lower skills package, because we aim our tournaments at kind of beginner to intermediate, because we know that the veterans can come along. They've got their skill advantage, but they can also just come along and chill out and not have like a pressured, massive amount of games. We want people to come and have fun, and it makes it accessible. It means we can add stuff in like giants and fen beasts and have a really good time. And this book is pro that, and I think that's excellent. It's not going to replace tournament packs. If you go into a tournament, you've got to read the rules pack, because some of it's going to say we're using the match play guide standards. Some of it, like this one Ben's going to, is going to take that and then add in another tier for the lols and stitch up snotlings. Clearly, if Dice is running this, clearly Whiskey Mance has been someone's done him dirty with snotlings.
Yeah.
Julian's awesome, so that's really exciting. But yeah, that's it. And the great thing, and I know I kind of went on a diatribe about this in the video as well. The great thing about Blood Bowl tournaments is that they are all, generally speaking, their own unique theme, their own unique thing, which is, that's the fluff of Blood Bowl. Like, literally, Blood Bowl, the world, I mean, you guys have probably read the novels, like, you go to a tournament and they do weird things, and they go to this event and they do weird things, and you come to one of our events, we do weird things, you go to different events. It's just part of the wonderful thing about Blood Bowl. You don't have the kind of like standard 2,000 point roster build, because there's so much going on in that you don't actually have any mental space to do anything. I think this is a really good start, but it is not the be all and end all. So all that rage and worry that we're seeing kicking around the Blood Bowl community over it doesn't need to exist, even in the slightest. Save your anger, go to the Battletech forum, because they're having a rage bin at the moment, or anywhere the OGL has touched.
Yeah. Yeah, go to the, Wizards forums. Go and invade Magic the Gathering. Go and tell them how bad their company is.
Hey, Wizards. It's not Wizards. It's not Wizards' fault. They got bought by Hasbro.
Well, yeah, true. But, stand up for your game, Wizards. Don't let them bully you. Fine. If you're going to go down that route, don't be wimps.
No.
It's interesting, actually, because it's interesting that Games Workshop have made this publication, and 3 years into the kind of the release of 2020, the second season, but we didn't have anything similar, did we, through 2016? So since the game kind of got rebooted, it's been what? What are we now? 7 years for them to come out with a tournament guide. And I in the back of my head, I guess I'm just wondering, what's prompted it?
I actually think I know the answer to that. Did you see the announcement for the World Championships of Warhammer on the community? Now, Blood Bowl isn't on that this year round, but
Right.
I think we're going to see them move towards World Championships for Blood Bowl run by Games Workshop.
I mean, the game has definitely increased enormously in popularity, hasn't it? I mean, I think was it Trips the other day sent us through the NAF stats, and like even like NAF membership has like doubled since 2020, kind of like
since 2016.
Since
the 2016 one had a spike. It's barely moved since 2020 for the obvious reason of not really.
But I mean, since the 2016 launch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, that would be cool. Yeah, I think the popularity of the game has become significantly bigger, and especially within the introduction of more teams. And I was looking at it as well, like since they've really I think you know what you're saying about the quality of this book. I mean, it's obviously quite a small book. It's sort of like Spike magazine size, but my brother got me the 2022 Almanac and Death Zone for Christmas. And just like the rule book and everything, like the production quality on them is fantastic.
They're perfect.
Whereas when you look at the Almanac or the Death Zone or whatever from 2016, I don't want to say it's like a throwaway, but it's like a soft back kind of.
I know what you mean. They're much more like source books. And that, I think, is exactly befitting Blood Bowl. Like the Death Zone the Death Zone is probably my favourite thing they've done, right? And it is just a source book full of optional rules and stuff you don't need, which I am always going to buy. I mean, that is basically what every D&D thing is, right? It's like, here's my book of ideas, and that's what they're doing. And the Almanac is brilliant because they've got those new star players and it's a useful thing. So you bang on the money, Milton. I think that they're doing it at a slower clip, but everything they're doing is good for the game.
It's really good quality. I mean, and keeping it all in the same theme. So I don't know whether I'm explaining it particularly well, but the sort of red blue, the kind of the design, the way the books are laid out.
It's cohesive,
there's like a cohesion to the rules, to the change in the rule sets. Like they seem to be doing a better job at keeping the FAQs in line with what people's kind of expectation of the game is. I feel like that's fair.
I do too.
I think there's maybe some things that people would contest me on that, but for the general,
you're right. I think we got to be really open and honest in here. We are not Games Workshop apologists, but we are, I believe, unanimously in favour of things that are going to bring more people into the game and have more people having fun in the game. Obviously, if this book came out and said you can't do stuff, this is how it's going to be run, that would be completely ignored. And there's elements of this that you aren't going to completely ignore. And you know what? It's our game. Like, Games Workshop have produced the official version. If we want to go astray, make it clear, and that's fine. So, actually,
it's literally the best thing about tabletop gaming. Really, is that it's whatever you make it. It's not like a video game where you're tied to how it works. You can just do what you want.
And I promise that if Games Workshop starts bringing in stuff that starts leading the game astray, we will curate a Blood Bowl light. Like that's absolutely fine. If we will keep something separate in the middle ground. And I know the NAF will the NAF won't do that, but the NAF core they'll just go back to playing CRP, which is fine. But so far, they've added a little bit of complexity to the game. They've added more depth to the game. Yeah, star players, they got a little bit wrong. I love what they did with Amazons. I know there's some people who are concerned about the strength 4 blocker person, but there's only 2 of them, and that's just way less boring than 4 Blodge Guard. Fair enough, they may be more strong. in the long run, but ultimately I'd rather have that, because the last 10 years of playing against Blodgard Amazon, like, I don't mind things that are a little bit broken if it's going to be a different kind of broken, because, you know, that's fine. So they've done that. Norse, I played against Craig. He was a huge Norse player. He was like, I love the beer balls. Like, I just think it's a great idea. It's clever. It means I can build different stuff, build different rosters, and I got a little cute mascot. He's like, it's great. It's like, don't have to use it, but it's great. And that, I think, sums up this book as well. You don't have to use it, but it's great. So I think that's really good. But I saw this on the Battlefleet Gothic thing, because there was an Instagram post of a picture for Battlefleet Gothic. And therefore it went all over the Facebook groups for Battlefleet Gothic. And half the comments were like, yes, Battlefleet Gothic might be coming back. This is amazing. I was one of those people. And then the other half were like, I can't believe it. Like, just leave the game alone, like, don't touch it, like, I don't want to do it. And it's really interesting to see those threads, because you get like these people who are like, no, and then someone else just crops up and is like, look, they're not going to come to your house and take your models away.
And also, you might get a range of brand new models that you can still use to play the game that you liked before,
or just, you know, right click, save as PDF, and you can play that game forever. And Blood Bowl is, we're at a point now where they're adding stuff. They've not broken it yet. I am very nervous for the future, but I'm probably way more excited, you know, because it's been great fun so far, and just yeah, really enjoying where we are with Blood Bowl at the moment. And this book is a really good assist to a whole bunch of people who will never have run or played in a Blood Bowl tournament, and it's going to be a really helpful guide to them. And then when they come to your tournament that you've been running for 7 years, the format's not going to be massively different. So I think it's brilliant in that regard.
So there's a bit at the back of this book, isn't there, about tournaments at Warhammer World?
Yes, literally the last page, which says nothing, if I remember correctly, because I kind of went into the video and was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Blood Bowl
it's like,
events at
this is
Warhammer
exciting.
World.
But there are a couple this year. In fact, I think one might have already happened. I know it was like early January, wasn't it?
Oh, do you know? They normally do one about the Super Bowl kind of time.
Yeah, mate, no, that was it. When I don't follow it, so I don't know when is that. Is that gone? Has that happened? Is that happening?
Who's that?
Are the Americans footballing?
Yeah, are they?
Super Bowl is Beachhead Sevens. Is the Super Bowl.
Okay, so it might be that same weekend then.
Pete needs to start rejigging the timeline of this, because I'm like, oh, cool, it's the Super Bowl weekend. I'm going to be too tired.
Yeah, I think I've seen somebody mention it. It is that weekend. It is tied in with the Super Bowl. So they're doing an 11s then, and then they're doing a 7s in March.
Yes, that's the one we're going to.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is it says, I think this is probably what we're going through. Blood Bowl events held at Warhammer World will use the Blood Bowl match play guide as a basis for their rules pack.
So that's exactly where I was going. And I don't know. So we're going to 7s, and I don't know how much of an impact this actually has on 7s, because
Literally
you can't take star players.
And I think the way the
we're
skills
not allowed
work,
to take skills, because the skills are random.
So yeah,
that's interesting.
I was like, when I saw the contents, it was like, oh, Blood Bowl, it's a Warhammer World. This is going to mean something. And then it was like, there's nothing here, and it has no impact on our 7s games. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But presumably, with the intent of sort of, I don't know whether they're going to start hosting more sort of tournaments.
That would be, I would be super pro that. I think that's wicked. I mean, Ben, how would you feel if they started doing like a world championship for Blood Bowl curated by Games Workshop in the same way they're kind of doing with 40k and AOS now?
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting. I think a lot of people would like dislike that for obvious reasons, but like I think I'd watch the hell out of that.
I think it'd be great.
How does it work? How do you get into it? Is it just like you just buy a ticket and you go, or is there like some sort of
the World Championship ones?
Yeah,
those are invitational, I think, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure how that works, because it was 40k, and I was like, no. If I want to be tortured, I'll go get a personal trainer, which I evidently haven't. But yeah, so it's an interesting one. I mean, ultimately, more Blood Bowl is more better. And if there becomes this new format of super strict Games Workshop only elite, well, don't worry about it. Like, because the majority of us, like literally 97% of Blood Bowl tournaments aren't going to change. They're still going to be using all kinds of models. And hey, I was complaining about this with Jack at Tournament today. I was like, yeah, going to this Sevens tournament at Warhammer World, and I don't know if I have a team that doesn't have non-Games Workshop stuff in it. It's like, look at my Skaven team. That Rat Ogre, very not Games Workshop. I was like, yeah, this is going to be a problem. But unless you're playing at a Games Workshop place or at Warhammer World, you're not going to be affected by that. And it's probably because we're so far south, but when I think about going to an event at Warhammer World, I'm not just popping across the road to play a tournament. I'm going to an event. This is a special occasion for me. Like, so if I need to build and paint a new team using models that Milton's got 4 sets of in his cupboard, then you know what? I'm going to use that happy slapping painting method, and it's fine. What's one more team?
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, you're more than welcome to happy slap one of my unbuilt teams if you want to.
Oh man, this is a proper throwback episode. All right, I'll see if I can find some Scooter to play during the intermission. Right, anything more for match play, guys?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, it's time for the Bonies. Okay, it's time for the Bonies, and like Ben said at the beginning of the episode, we want to do something slightly different this time, because it's all well and good us having an opinion, and don't get us wrong, we are definitely going to be sharing our opinions as we go through, because that's what we do, but also we wanted this to represent more than just us, so we put out like I said, a very exciting Google form that this time Milton didn't spam, which was nice. Like our league form that Milton just... Yeah, anyway, we won't talk about democracy. We wanted everybody to vote so that we could be like, this is the viewer's choice. So as we go through each of these categories, we're going to hit up basically the top of the viewers' choices, and we'll chime in with we agree, we disagree, or what we thought would be the best one, because this is going to be a bit of fun, but actually it represents hundreds of data points on people's opinions and stuff, and it was so good. So a massive thank you to everyone who joined in. Hopefully next year we can get even more, because it was really cool to see, and we had some really great suggestions. So the first category, we're gonna shift it up a little bit. I'm going to push the team back. We're going to do star players, then big guys, then team, then other, and then wrap up with the Bonehead version. So the first category is the best star player Games Workshop only. So each of these categories is split into 3. We've got Games Workshop only, then we've got physical third party, and then we've got STL third party as well. Because last year we kind of did STL, we just did third party as one category. And I don't know, there's a lot going on in third party world, which I didn't realise until I went through this list, and I was like, damn, that was this year? That was this year. So we'll come to that in the third party bit. So guys, Games Workshop star player, who's your pick, or who do you expect to be at the top?
I was between 2 or 3. For me, I really like Snake Guy, Boa Constrictor.
Yep.
The other 2 was my second choice. Oh, it's really tough. I can't tell who I like more. Was what's his name? The Croxagore. Stop.
Yeah.
I think he's badass. The third one, I'm actually going to say he's not top for me, but runner-up, who I wouldn't be surprised to see, is the Yeti star. Who's the...
Skrorg.
Skrorg.
Yeah.
So bad at remembering these names, man.
Yeah. They're made-up names. That is a pretty solid top 3. Milton, what would be your picks for the star players from Games Workshop? What would you expect to see number 1?
I don't remember what I said it was. Skrorg, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Skrorg is a good shout.
I mean, Boa's really cool as well. I think I forgot about Boa, but yeah.
Yep, that's fair. Right, let's move. There is a clear top 3 for this one, so we're gonna bounce through. the third bronze medal was Estelle, or as loads of people put in the comments, Frog Lady. Made me so flipping happy as I was going through the data this morning. I was like, I even said to Tiff, I was like, amazing. Someone's called her Frog Lady, because I only refer to her as Frog Lady because I can't pronounce her name. And then there was 13 other people that just put Frog Lady, some in brackets, some in quotes. It was awesome to see. And some other people actually clearly copy and pasted the name from the Forge World website. But Estelle Levenot came in third place in the viewer's choice. Oh, I should probably be on this one. Second place was Snake Boy, Snake Lad, one of Ben's favourites there. Boa was a wicked star player to land this year. I really like this model.
Yeah.
It's just different. It just explores a bit of the space while massively sticking to the Amazon kind of motifs. I thought was a really solid piece. I did not enjoy how many pieces it was in. It was 9. It was 9.
Unnecessary. Could have been 1.
Yeah, the good thing is that the finger wasn't a separate piece, but I think that the head was in like 3 or 4 pieces. So
Really?
yeah, I don't understand. It's like they build it and then they go, right, I'll tell you what, for a dare, see how many pieces you can get this 32mm model to be in. So viewer's choice, Boa was up there as well, but the first place was the big lad, not Scrog.
Okay.
It was Glottal Stop.
Nice. Not surprised.
I mean,
Yeah, he is cool.
it's an awesome model. I love this one. He's up there on my shelf, built and unpainted, and where he will remain until, I don't know, I wonder how many generations my family can keep him alive for. All right, my kids are playing Blood Bowl. Sweet. I can see
Interesting.
this now. Granddad
all 3
gave me
Amazon
this
stuff.
model. Yeah, I wonder if that's recency bias.
Maybe. Norse were quite early in the year, weren't they?
Ivar was fine. Thorson was fun. Scrog was good. Scrog was a good one. Milton.
I wanted to say Scylla, and I remember that was like 2019 or whatever, and I don't know where the years have gone.
Yeah.
Riffer's not out, is he?
No, that's brute fun.
Oh, okay. I think I might have put Ripper in my pool.
Yeah, we had some. We had the odd like random vote that was in like the wrong box or something. It was quite good to see. So that was the 3-star players, and yeah, there's a couple there that I don't know. I think Games Workshop are doing a pretty good job with their star player models at the moment. What do you reckon?
Yeah, they are really nice. Again, it's same comment as earlier. I really like them. I think they're amazing models. I think all of the Forge World stuff. Well, actually, okay, 95% of the Forge World stuff is incredible. Like the Necromunda stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
It's just the price. It really does limit it. It makes it so much less fun.
Yes.
It's just there's always that little bit of just like, oh, I wish I wanted to buy that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you can kind of get the alternatives for a pretty decent price. Now, talking of alternatives, the next category is Best Star Player, Third Party, Physical. Let me just bring up the screen here on my phone. Amazing.
This is such an easy one for me.
All right.
An easy one.
Who's your pick? Physical, Ben.
Oh, physical third party.
Physical
Okay, yeah,
third
sorry.
party.
Okay. Come back to me, Milton.
Oh, I'm 90% sure I picked something Punga. Was it part of their Kickstarter? I don't know. I'm not really up to date with the third party physical
I'll
stuff.
tell you what,
so...
it's really interesting going through these and being like, it feels like there was a lot of physical stuff, but because it's like that delay, and we did change this up, we applied the Blood Tithe ruling for this one, which is if the Kickstarter or pre-order went live this year, it counts as this year's, to avoid that thing where your Kickstarter comes and then you kind of like, well, my favourite model this year was that team, and then they turn up the next year and you're like, these are still my favourite models. And which year is it? It's the year in which the Kickstarter went live.
I do have one.
Who we got?
For me, it's the Fanath Boa. Because one, it was a really good sculpt, and two, I'm just massively impressed how they turned that around.
That was crazy good, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was brought up a couple of times in the submissions as well. They were like 2 days from announcement to sculpting to availability. I remember I was on holiday and like did the announcement for the new star player, and then literally like the next day I'd pre-ordered the thing, and by the time I'd flown back from Italy, like the star player was there. Absolutely phenomenal. And let's move on to the top 3. Now, I've put the Grebo boa constrictor, but the Fanath one was absolutely tied for third place. So Snake Boy went down a treat this year. It's just the Grebo one had a better website, and I was already there. So I was like, well, let's use this one. So the bronze was the Azar the Mesmerist, which we did an unboxing review for. It's a very lovely model. I was able to compare it to the Fanath one and the Games Workshop one. And Cherry Poppin' Muffin was the next most popular one. Now this, I believe, well, it's available now. I thought it was part of the new Kickstarter that they did, the Snoo Snoog. But it isn't. This is just an actually available model now. And I mean,
there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. There's a lot going on, and I love the way they've done the interface on this website. Look at this.
I know, right?
You got a halfling covered in sweets, about to hit a muffin with a stick of dynamite in with a big candy cane like a golf club. It's brilliant.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I can definitely see why this was the second place, but the first place was Yenna the Witch from Grebo. So
wow, Grebo taking it.
Grebo,
this is rad. I don't think I've seen this model before.
What the hell? This is really cool. It's like sucking the soul out of like a human player.
It comes in 2 different versions as well. You can get her without the human being turned into a frog to make it a bit more playable.
So I'm assuming this is Estelle.
Yeah, this is Frog Lady.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is insane. This looks way cooler than the Games Workshop one.
Yeah, I really like that. That's a really cool mini.
They've gone to town with this. All the frogs. You've got the cool spine. That spine bit links in with their Karamat Amazons. Which I really do like that team. So they've done a beautiful job. And yeah, that was the third party star player.
Can we honorary mention?
Yep.
I felt it was bad to mention. What about the Fen Beast?
Well,
to be fair, that was 4th spot.
Okay,
so a lot of people had mentioned the Fen Beast, which is cool. And it was very cool to see that be mentioned. I was going to bring it up in a bit. Best Star STL is the next one. It's all good. Cool. Let's go to the next category. Which is third-party star player STL. This
is the easy one.
Yeah, this is probably a very easy one.
Hands down, Ripper. Brute Fun Ripper. Insane. Love him. Love everything about it.
That is
the book. With the book.
Okay, so we started at Christmas printing because we did the Fen Beast, and we're like, I love Brute Fun. Let's support them. Let's just see if we can sell some of the star player models. And hopefully this won't upset anybody, but I do slightly judge anybody who buys the one without the book. It's like, you're missing out. I was packing the orders. Tiff's been helping me
class shipping.
Yeah, Tiff's been helping me pack the orders, and I'm like, they've gone without the book. And she's like, do you want to just send them the book one and just be like, look, I fixed it.
Sorry, I got it wrong. I think there was a comment in the Discord the other day from Brute Fun. Like somebody posted like their like painted one without the book, and he was like, no, made a mistake there. Like something like that.
Yes, it's very, very, very true. I mean, let's go to the top 3. Ooh, slightly off center. Which was, I mean, it's Brute Fun everywhere. There was a big old tie at third place with Brute Fun's Creek, Brute Fun's Bryce the Slice, Brute Fun's Wilhelm Cheney, and Brute Fun's Puggy. And this, it's a great sculpt, right? It doesn't look anything massively special. You're like, this is a cool model. This is one of the best models I have seen. Now, this is only the bronze place for this one, but I immediately went to Brute Fun. I was like, dude, at some point you need to fit a halfling team in for this. Because when you got the model, it just looks perfect. And I was like, oh, dude. Sadly, He's not going to be able to fit that in anytime soon because he's been working on some outrageous Skaven at the moment, which I'm very excited for. But Puggy, I mean, and this is another really good example when eventually the Games Workshop Puggy model lands, everyone's going to be full on Miltoning it. Like, is this model not out? I'm like, no, that's Brute Fun. So Puggy takes this point. Then we've got a non-Brute Fun entry, second place, which was the Eldril Sidewinder from Ugni.
Oh, this is good. Yeah, this is really good.
Got quite a few votes for this one. Elton Windbreaker, which sounds cool, and then you think about it, and it's not the most flattering of names for an elf, which I think is pretty entertaining. Ugni did a star player batch. They had a pretty good snake in there as well. But no, cool model, cool sculpt. The face work on this is really impressive as well. But unsurprisingly, with a monstrous percentage of the vote, it was the troll star player from Brute Fun, True Ripper, who does actually have a non-book version as well. He's got glasses, he's got his quill, and I love this model so much. It is just
so good.
It's like, it might be the best Blood Bowl miniature out at the moment.
It's just phenomenal. It's just really so good. Blood Bowl. It's so Blood Bowl, and it's exactly what I want from Ripper. And you got the thinking man's troll, like, captured so well.
Really good.
Tiny glasses at everything. Yeah,
it's so good. It is just so good. And I dare Games Workshop to come anywhere close to this sculpt. Now, this was the category that got the most votes, actually, and the most kind of different entries. There were some other brilliant ones, the Brute Fun Glottal there, and I've got to put a massive shout out to the other Goblin star players that Brute Fun's done. His Scrapper is just miles better than the Games Workshop one.
So dynamic. There's so much motion.
Let's put it this way. I printed out a lot of them recently because it's gone down a treat, but their Chainsaw Boy and their Scrapper, it is just fantastic.
We're incredibly lucky in this game and this hobby to have like someone like Brute Fun and like all the other companies and that stuff making so much good stuff that it was so hard to choose from. Yeah. Like, it was something that I reflected on. Just like, this is so hard. Like, there are so much good stuff to pick from here this year. And it's just, it's obscene.
It's outrageous.
Really lucky.
Ugni, Hunger, just a Torchlight, and obviously Brute Fun are just doing some outrageous stuff.
Ware games,
Right, so that wraps up the star player section. On to the next category. All right, which is Best Big Guy, Games Workshop. Now, this is an interesting one because a lot of the good star player models that have landed this year are also big guys, and I was not remotely interested in splitting them up into categories and making it more complicated, so I just let people vote however they wanted. So, thoughts on the best big guy models from Games Workshop this year?
Well, I think, for me, the Yeti, the Norse Yeti was pretty cool.
Can confirm it's in the top 3.
Yeah, that's where I think my vote would go.
I'd probably have said the same thing, or Skrog again, if we're including the stars. So,
Glottal probably.
Yeah, true.
I didn't actually. I didn't consider the stars coming into it.
Non-star, I totally agree with you, Milton. I'd say the Yeti.
Yeah.
Well, in the top 3 is the Blood Bowl Croxagore.
Oh, did that come out last year?
I don't know.
No, that was this year.
I think it was this year.
Last year.
It was this year. It was with the Amazon team.
See, normally I just go to the unbox and review videos and look at it to see. No,
maybe it wasn't. It wasn't the Amazon team.
It was a little bit before then.
No, it was standalone, wasn't it?
The Warcom article is 25 October 21st.
Oh.
Sorry, 21st, 2021.
It was only third place because the second place was Glottal Stop. And then the first place was absolutely the Blood Bowl Yeti. Now, I wonder if there were some votes for Skrog mixed in here because a lot of it was just the Yeti. So I think it's fair to split first place between the Blood Bowl Yeti and Skrorg, who is quite frankly another great Yeti model. So I think kind of the combination of those two being the top Games Workshop big guys this year, more than fair. More than fair. But that's the boring one that Games Workshop do, because they only do 2 teams a year. So let's move on. Let me just get the video bit ready, because I'm almost organised with this. It's going okay. Best big guy, third party. Okay, best big guy, third party, physical. This is an interesting one. I've only got there's only a clear top 2 for this one.
I guess
I'm not allowed to do Kickstarters that arrived this year.
Not Kickstarters that arrived this year, Kickstarters that have backed this year. Were you thinking Chaos Dwarf Minotaur?
Yeah, 100%.
That got quite a few votes anyway.
Okay, cool. I was going to say.
That's the Punga one.
Yeah, this one right here. Yeah, it's so rad.
I guess, like, if you're including the star players in the same way you for the last, then probably somebody out of the category we've already seen. I don't know.
Interesting.
Let's find out.
Okay. Top. Well, there's actually only a top 2. There was a load of votes for various teams stuff, like individuals. There was a lot of individual suggestions, but from combining there's a lot of, like, the Punga Polar Bear was pretty popular as well.
That was also last Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And number 2, and only by a smidgen, was the Fen Beast. Was the Brute Fun Bonehead Podcast Fen Beast model. And I was like, this is amazing. I'm so chuffed that people love this model. I love this model.
So good.
And it's just been awesome to have this be available, first of all, because I've always wanted a Fen Beast. And just to work with Brute Fun to come up with this specifically for Blood Bowl. Absolutely awesome. Sadly, it got pegged to the post by Grebo Halfling Treeman.
Oh.
And
okay.
There's 3 Treeman. The 2 Treeman, and then there is a Deep Root Treeman somewhere else on the Kickstarter. And having received these Treeman and opened these Treeman, I don't think that is a terrible thing to come second place to. Because Grebo do some outrageous models, and look at those
really good.
Tree Boys. But
I think
similar
they
in
have
style.
so much personality.
Similar in style, so much personality. The Kickstarter that they did was just, it's brilliant. Not mainstream in their style and design, but I think that's what made this Kickstarter that Grebo did so good. Was just that they committed hard to a style and then they executed it in the way that they always do. So absolutely tip top on that one, I reckon.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the best big guy, digital.
I remember who I voted for this.
Did you know? Now,
yeah,
they're not star players in this one. The people who voted for digital did a good job of separating the digital star players from the digital star player big guys.
Yeah, I don't think my vote will be in the top 3, but I really liked, I hope it was 2022, was the Punga Snotling team they released with the Fellwater Troggoth style trolls.
The Troggoth landed, I think, a little bit later than they did another one. But anyway, it's
I don't know. I like that one. I like that style of troll. I think I voted for that. I can't see it being in the top 3.
It didn't make the top 3, but there was some good Punga votes, in there as well. BT, any guesses from you? Or any favourites?
I'm just trying to think again of the Brute Fun roster. Like, there's so many to choose from here. I think
He did a rat ogre, didn't he?
Yeah, I was about to say the rat ogre.
The rat
or
ogre
the
was
underworld.
one of the
mean
first that really
this
caught my attention.
Rat
yeah.
ogre.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's exactly it.
This is the first entry. The first successful nomination for Brute Fun for this category was the Underworld Rat Ogre. I've just printed a bunch of this dude for the shop. It's so cool, and there's some great variations there as well. You've got a horned head, you've got a warpstone fist, you've got a blade claw hand. It's just really, really cool. There's an alternate version where there's a very like squishing a snotling as well. There is a little snotling down there in classic Brute Fun style, but it is a wicked rat ogre, and that was only number 3. The Yeti came in second place.
Oh, it's so rad too. Yeah,
It is very cool.
This is one of his earlier sculpts as well.
yeah,
Norse players were spoiled last year, weren't they?
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Badlands Brawls have been spoiled this kind
Yeah.
of third. So the Yeti came in second, and then not far in front was again Brute Fun, and it was the Black Orc Troll. And
Yeah,
this was called out
understandably.
in the votes so many times as Brute Fun Black Orc Troll or Chainmail Fist Troll. So I was like, all right, are they getting vote? Is he getting votes here for Ripper as well? But so many called out. It was either like Chainmail Fist Troll or Black Orc Troll or 4-point Stance Troll. A really great model, and just look at that painted version.
Wow.
And that's
so
why.
nice.
And that's absolutely why. Because
Who
this,
painted that?
Yeah, I was going to say.
actually. Don't know actually. Not even
That's
in the.
credit for that. That's obscenely good.
That is really nice. The skin tone and
I mean,
the armor, the chipping on the
yeah,
white
I was
armor.
going to say
and everything.
the
Yeah.
armor there. That
It's
red
what
is-
what I love about this one as well. Is like it's the Black Hawk team like so well. Like the chainmail and the armor shoulder.
Well, he's used the same
shoulder pad and stuff.
armor, hasn't he? Because he's
Yeah,
done the
exactly.
entire Black Orc team, popped it on a great looking troll that fits the theme perfectly, and it definitely deserves it because there's so many good STL big guys out there, but I like this one. I like all these top 3, and what else did we have in there? Croxagore from Brute Fun, Torchlight Minotaur, Brute Fun Mummy, Punga Croxagore, Savage Orc Troll from Brute Fun. There's some awesome big guys out there. You guys know that I like big guys for Blood Bowl, so this is like probably my favorite category, and I am not disappointed. Okay, so that I believe wraps up the big guy category, which brings us to what I think has to be the main event here, which is the best teams. Now, when it comes to Games Workshop, they only released 2, so I think it's time for the big vote. Amazons or Norse, guys?
I would be shocked if Amazons beat Norse.
It's got to be Norse.
I think they're both good. But I had very little. I could see. Basically, I had more negatives on the Amazon, more cons on the Amazon team than I did in the Norse team. Basically,
That's a very good way of putting it. All right, I'm going to give you an over and under here. The winner, did they win over or under 60% of the vote?
over
Over 60% of the vote.
over 60%. I would say 85%.
It was only 72%.
Okay.
But it is a pretty big landslide for Norse, and for the obvious reasons. Now, I really enjoyed the Amazon Spike. I enjoyed the Amazon release a lot. I thought they made the team really interesting. They brought out some really cool star players. Skrog style over substance, sure, but the other two, really interesting players. So I thought the Amazon release was really good, but the team absolutely deserves to go to Norse. It was wicked. It was so exciting to see. The beer ball was so exciting. The Old Warriors could have done with being a bit bigger, but that's the only kind of real negative. It's
Valkyries are sick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the whole team was brilliant. Love a bit of Norse. Really like that one. So that's the Games Workshop best team. And then I think we go to potentially one of the hardest fought ones here. which is the best team third-party physical, guys. So that's Kickstarters that have gone live this year. Teams that have been released.
I do have a favourite. Go, Milton.
Oh no, I think I have an idea who might have won this based on what we've seen so far. Is they're called the Snug Snoots, the Grebo
Futurama, Snoog.
Yeah, Snoog halflings from, is it Grebo?
Grebo.
Yeah, I'm getting that right. I think that's where my vote's going to go.
Can confirm that is in the top 3.
Okay, go on then, Ben.
For me, it's Hunger, obviously. The High Elves Hunger.
Okay.
We've got a very interesting situation here. In that the Grebo Snoog team did get more votes. Hunger High Elf team came second, and the Dark Elf team came third. So, and it's that kind of classic Hunger situation of they always do their Kickstarters with so much going on that it divides it. And I think if they'd gone and released one team, that could have won. But they did a great job. And quite frankly, top 3 there. Technically, the Snoog team took it. But Punga High Elf and Punga Dark Elf so close behind. So good. I mean, the Punga team's absolutely gorgeous, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love all the Punga stuff. It's just so like I find them. What I've always said with them is they're just great tabletop miniatures because they're really fun to paint as well. Like, and that's a big part of it. Like, they're just really good. They're really cleanly made and really fun to paint. So, yeah.
Punga just feels like a better Games Workshop.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It's
All
like
their
what?
teams.
It's all like Forge World stuff, basically. You don't pay that much for premium for it.
No,
They're not cheap, but they're not ludicrous. Yeah.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And they are just Games Workshop done up nicely. They are the Alfa Romeo to Games Workshop's Fiat.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they break a little less, which is pretty magical. But the Snoog did take the top spot in a amount of pure votes, so they are the third-party physical team winner of the year. And having seen this team, it is just an absolute beautiful piece of art. Their characterful sculpts are just outrageous. The sizing's brilliant. And we've got a big tree man. The tree boys are so good. Absolutely brilliant. I think that was a well-deserved one and a really, really, really close fought. There was a lot of other good teams that dropped this year. Ben, you'll be pleased to know that the Grebo Chaos Dwarf got a lot of votes.
Nice.
Don't know if they were actually eligible, but they got lots
I was
of
going to
votes
say
anyway.
it was last year.
Where Amazon's Galadur Savannah team came up as well. Then the Wired Dark Elf team, Succubus Wood Elves as well, got a lot of votes. There was some really good teams, and some Fanath Elven Union team as well. Their team landed. They did a really interesting. They didn't even bother with Kickstarter. They were just like, "Here, we made a team. Would you like it? You can have it Thursday," which is kind of something I absolutely love about Fanath. Is they're like, we're not going to bother with PR. We're just going to be like, made this. Do you want it? 60 quid. It's yours. I'll have it to you yesterday. Absolutely
Very
wonderful job for Fanath too. Which brings us to the best team, STL here, guys. What are your thoughts?
Oh, this is going to be a tough one, I think.
I think a favourite, but I couldn't remember if it actually is in this year. I think it is just about
29 different suggestions for this one.
Wow.
What's your favourite then, Ben?
Mine was the Brute Fun Lizardman team.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can't remember if that was January last year or if it was just before.
That was this year.
Well, it's in 2022.
I did a print to pitch for it this year, I think in February time. It's been a long year.
Yeah, I think
It has,
the game
yeah.
gave me some of those skinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I actually printed and painted an entire team so we could do our live stream with them.
Yeah.
Not a bad team. All right, let's go to the top 3 of this here. The third place was the Ugni human team. Now, this only recently dropped. Actually, that's not fair. I think it was October, but it feels recent. And I actually really love this suggestion because Ugni are doing some great work. He's got this unique style. And it's odd to see. Like, there's just something a bit jarring about it, but the models are really lovely. And painted up, these guys look really sharp. I don't think he's got any models, but they've nailed. This is just awesome. I think the halfling guy made it. It's just a really sporty Blood Bowl team, which there's kind of a market for. There's kind of a gap in the like. There's loads of like fully armored dudes. These guys are just sports dudes with spikes in the style of Griff. So the Ugni team STL1 got it in there, and I think it's a great suggestion.
It's good. It's how I picture them. Like if you were like in the universe and they were playing without all like the sort of like over design of like tabletop miniatures. This is like how I picture an actual Blood Bowl team. Yeah. This is really good.
Yeah, it's a good kit, good set. The second place went to the Punga Night Goblin team.
Yeah, these were good. These were really good.
Absolutely, definitely deserves to be in the top 3. I mean, well executed sculpts. I am going to deduct a little bit from them because although they've done a brilliant job, the reason they're so great is because they are just night goblins. Like, they just took night goblins and made them a Blood Bowl team, which was always going to be a massive win.
Yeah, everyone liked that. And so...
Oh no, I love it. I think it's absolutely awesome. And this was just absolutely gagging to be done for, forever. I thought this team was brilliant. It's Punga, so STL wise, obviously it going in 3 different batches is a bit tricky. But Ian Warhammer Hannum made me print him a team of this, which because it's just a gorgeous little team.
I'll be on his channel soon.
Maybe not. He tends to move on to the next project very, very quickly, which, to be fair, I can't really chastise him for.
Don't worry.
But you guys were not wrong with nearly twice as many votes as the Punga team. It was the Brute Fun Lizardman team, which, Brute Fun landed the Black Orc team, and the Black Orc team was great. But then he dropped this Lizard team at the beginning of the year, and it's just perfect.
It really is.
And he's going back and he's been tweaking some of the star players as well. Just sort of making the star player sculpts a little bit bolder, a little bit more refined, with different heads and stuff. But the fact that this team came with 9 different skinks, 2 different chameleon skinks, all of them have different sculpts with headdresses and face guards and stuff is just wicked.
Isn't it wild that we're considering this as like one of his earlier teams and it was like this year?
Yeah. that man gets through so many sculpts. It's like every other day there's a new one, isn't there? It's amazing.
He's always sending me a message. He's like, "Oh yeah, done this, Skaven. I saw a cool gutter runner with a robot leg." I was like, "Oh, this is wicked. You're gonna be able to get some metal and some grime on this." But this lizard team was awesome, and I loved painting it up. It took contrast, fantastic. Well, it wasn't contrast. It was Army Painter speed paint. Just absolutely awesome. This Croxagore I've painted 3 of. 1 for that team, 2 for the Beasts, the College of Beasts team, and I've printed about 50 of his new star player Croxagore because that's just a beautiful model. It's just an excellent team. I love it. Ben, I know you want to work your way through the Brute Fun.
I do. This is the first Brute Fun team I want to do. Once I finally started bashing down the backlog, I can justify printing it. But yeah.
No, I love it. And I don't know, maybe I'll run this for the Jungle Bowl, actually, as it's painted.
You got one?
Yeah, and it would kind of thematically work. Thematically work, not thematically. That seemed a bit of an over-exaggeration. Okay, so that wraps up the STL top team, which deservedly goes to Lizards. The third-party physical team goes to Snoog, and Norse take it for the best team. This then goes on to the best Games Workshop non-miniature release. And the most entertaining point of this award will be you guys trying to think about what was actually released this year.
We had Dungeon Ball. No, non-miniature. I guess the Almanac.
Yeah, Dungeon
The
Ball counts.
Spikes. Does Dungeon Ball count?
That'll count. That's non-miniature. That's a game. I'm going Dungeon Ball.
You mean the 2021 Dungeon Ball release?
No, the second
No.
one. The expansion,
That
right?
wasn't last year, was it?
Dungeon Ball
Was
2.
Deathmatch.
That's
Yeah, let's go with that one. Whatever, we haven't played it. Let's go with that.
Okay,
Did Death Zone come out in 2022?
no, that's 2021.
No,
I know, right?
this is hard.
Okay, the
Hard to cut
Almanac.
Dice. No, dice. Just like whatever dice came out. That's just whatever was best.
There
All
was
of the dice
there was
just in a
lot of
pile
suggestions.
together.
A lot of suggestions for dice. And Norse pitch was also a good one there as well. The Amazon pitch. Hours of Where's the Gobby Fun. Have you guys found him yet? If you remember, Ben, when we did the live stream, we spent about 20 minutes at the end of the game trying to find the goblin on the pitch.
Oh yeah.
No, we didn't find him yet. But with a landslide votes, it was the 2022 Almanac took the place. Deathmatch was there as well. And the honourable third place goes to multiple people saying the November FAQ, landing in Occupied Square update, and the fact it's searchable. Which I actually highlighted blue because I was like, to be fair, that deserves the honourable win. I think the
That is really
win
funny.
is the FAQ becoming an actual searchable PDF. I think we got to give it to Games Workshop for that. But the Almanac was good. It was not as creative or as special as the Death Zone book. I was a bit surprised we didn't see a Death Zone this year. But
Yeah.
the
There
Almanac,
wasn't really anything good in it. So
dude, it dropped Ripper, right? Ripper came back. This was
yeah.
always going to be like Ripper's like the Rock of Blood Bowl. Like everybody loves him. Mums, wives, little brothers, everybody loves the Rock. And everybody loves Ripper just as much.
Yeah, I agree.
And this was a really good fun one as well, which was the open category for Blood Bowl accessory. So there's a ton of suggestions for this one. He scrolls down the page. So, what do you reckon?
Surely it's just dice, right? Like,
Oh,
what
Milton.
else was there?
No, Charlie
Milton.
Victor.
Oh, as in like anywhere.
Anything.
Oh, anywhere. Oh, yeah. Crikey. Okay. So
I'm
yeah,
gonna
the Charlie
go-
Victor cases or the skill
Yeah.
rings. In fact, I'm
gonna
going to go
with the-
skill rings.
I'm going to go with the Charlie Victor case. I'm going to go with that carry case. The XL.
You got the top two immediately, guys. It was the carry case by a pretty chunky margin, actually. And I mean, I use this all the time now. I take it everywhere with me. I've got two teams: Tournament League, Standard Wobble League, both in there. I've got my 7s pitch, my 11s pitch, the rule book, all my dice, my weather cards in that bag. And that's it. And Tiff keeps on at me because she's like, Ben, this is way better than your actual laptop case. Like, your Blood Bowl team is worth 50 quid. Your laptop is worth 1,500 quid. Why? Like, what are you doing? And we were at club and the bloke was like, that's a nice case. And I was like, yeah, it's nicer than my laptop case. There's like this, like, basically tote bag remains looking after my Alienware. But my Skaven team, thick skull. You can shoot me and I wouldn't die if I had this on me. Beautiful piece of work, really good. I think ultimately any carry case is just super useful. The Doc miniature ones are brilliant.
Yeah.
Tyrant, Tabletop Tyrant, brilliant.
Got my one.
But this
Very good.
this is the elite of carrying cases, so definitely deserve to win that one. And the kind of second place was the skill bands and ball carrier token from Charlie Victor. Lots of votes for that. I mean, the skill bands are brilliant. They worked brilliantly for 7 Super Series, and I use them exclusively in League now. They're just really, really useful. And there was a nice third place that I was really, really happy with.
Oh,
We got a lot of votes for the Dungeon Bowl chest tokens.
To be fair,
you know what?
these are bloody great.
That's well deserved, because like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that's quite as like robust or useful as those in terms of replacing the original Dungeon Bowl boxes.
You, Ben, have had many good ideas. This is one of your best.
Yeah.
This was like, when you produced these, I'm just like, this is brilliant.
I've had a
I'd like-
lot of bad ideas as well, which is nice.
I loved when we did Dorset Dungeon Bowl and we're handing out the tokens, and people were like, "What are these?" And then when they realised what they were like, "This is amazing!" It's like the joy. So good.
I hope that the next Dungeon Bowl thing that I've ordered goes down as well. It's not quite as exciting, but this was I'm excited for it. Coming in a couple of weeks. I'm hoping that we can get them all sorted for when we start filming the next season. But yeah, this was just an absolute no-brainer for me, and I'm really glad that it's gone down well. We're out of stock, but we've got a 800 token order on the way, so I'm excited for that because they're really good. And yeah, I mean, we had them out for every pitch at the tournament. It was just the easiest way to do it. And it was the right way to do it, I think. So yeah, really pleased that people voted for that. So that is everything with the exception of the final categories. Which I'm not going to go through one by one to the extent that we have, but this is the Bonehead Podcast highlights section that we just couldn't resist getting some bits out there to everyone. So guys, best Bonehead Podcast tournament. You can go with your personal favorite, or you can go with the guess of what you think got the most votes.
I'm going to go with Dungeon Bowl.
Is that your favorite or your guess?
Both.
Okay. MB?
Do we stream Dungeon Bowl? No.
We will be this year.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with SCA.
It was Bonehead Bowl.
Oh, really?
Bonehead Bowl got the most votes. And to be fair, we streamed it. It was mixed teams. It was a pretty special thing, but
Very smooth.
This was really nice. We had some great nominations and some great just comments about it. Dungeon Bowl, which feels like a really long time ago now, was epic. It was epic. We did something really different. Everyone had a really good time, and it was just something really special. And it was the birth of the TV, which I think massively helped. And then you guys ran the summer tournament, which was awesome. Then we did SCA, which was again another notch up, and we did some stuff there. And then Bonehead Bowl was a really nice, chilled out 40-player tournament at the end of the year at a great location with mixed teams. And I can't miss out Beachhead as well, where we stayed in the haunted hotel.
With the fire alarm.
Got lost on the way to the noodle shop. We've had a great year. We had an absolutely brilliant year of tournaments, and they all got votes. They all got votes, and I'm not surprised. They all got votes. They all got great comments, and that was really, really, really wicked. Oh man, I didn't do the. What is going on? Did I not do the thing? I didn't do the thing. Oh well, we won't bother with the thing then. We'll just go home.
Hi everyone.
To the homepage. I could turn studio mode off now. There we go. So that was the top tournament. This one's going to be a really interesting one, and we got a ton of comments for this, which was awesome, and I really enjoyed reading them through. I'm not sure if I even shared. I'm sure I shared the document with you guys for this, but if not, I'll put them in a Word document. Best Bonehead Podcast episode or highlight. This is an open question to you guys. What was your favourite? Or what do you think people's favourite will be? This is tough because I think we did a lot of cool stuff.
I do know. My favourite was the Lizards v Amazons game against Trips.
I am not going to bury the lead. That was the favourite. That was the favourite. We had so many suggestions. That was the one I picked out as being probably mentioned the most. But literally people were like, episode 97 running leagues is really useful. 92 the star player power rankings, sevens team breakdowns, the Bonehead Championship semi-final 2 nobility versus wood elves, a Dungeon Bowl Championship final, can't decide, sorry, tournament live streams, all of it, but possibly the tournament live streams, Amazon versus Lisbon live stream, especially the dual commentary of Trips and Ben, Ben's chat about tilting during that Blood Bowl 3 match. It was fun to reread that comment because I was like, oh yeah, geez, that was a tough episode. 87, the Beachhead Tournament Weekend Special Dungeon Bowl Final, but it was Amazons versus Lisbon. The live match was mentioned loads of time. Probably the second one that was mentioned was Ben's birthday 7 stream. I had such a laugh with everyone in the chat, and my suggestion of an updated star player ranking becoming an entire episode of the podcast was great. That was mentioned a good few times as well. Not sure of the episode, but the Bonehead Championship where the Rat Ogre killed his own player kick skill. Oh yeah, killed Rat McAfee, and later his opponent ate a troll as well. Great game. Properly Blood Bowl. Blood Tithe Ben not knowing the show notes were a living document. Which I love that. Yeah, so I mean, it was great, but yeah, I think the casual match was great fun.
Yeah, that was so much fun. I really want to do more of that.
Yeah,
because that was just such a good time.
Same.
Yeah,
it was so good, and we got a good camera setup now as well.
Yeah,
where it can become quite easy. So I think it's really good. Every time we kind of do a thing, we then go and do something slightly different or slightly better. Like if you think about our birthday 7s, like the birthday 7 stream we did, Ben, that was 2 iPhones.
Yeah.
And the top one was a slightly different color, and it really triggered everybody.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I was going to say mostly me, but maybe Milton even more. It made no sense.
Why is it yellow?
Why are you green? Like, why aren't you green? Yeah, that one really upset me. It was a good laugh though. Black Forest Gatto, that was good cake. And then we bust out the set. That was a good chill one, and then we moved on. We picked up a PTZ cam, and then I think, because we did the 7s mini test tournament, didn't we? With overhead iPhone plus 1 PTZ cam. We got the second one for the double match, the Amazon match.
That's when we had Rick, right?
Yeah, Rick came along. Yeah. Has played as well. That was wicked.
And we alternated the commentary. Yeah, that was good fun.
That was really
I enjoyed
fun
that as well. Yeah.
And now, we've got, I think, a really nice camera setup, and we're going to go back and do another series of Dungeon Bowl with 3D pitches, better cameras. I'm just really excited. But yeah, anyway, my point is we do different things and we grow each and every time. And now we're going to try and do see how we can do a 4-player game with 2 cameras, which is good because I ran out of slots to put the PTZ cameras in my my laptop, which is sad. As if I put it in a hub, it just forces a blue screen of death. I'm not sure why.
I'm over that game. I'm taking the train so that I can have drinks either before or after, whichever is more chaotic.
Put a
or
Bruce
required.
Ben and just sneak some beers in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm super looking forward to next weekend. And there was one last one that we did put up there, which was Best Bonehead Podcast YouTube series. What do you reckon people voted for?
7 Super Series, I reckon.
I'd say 7 Super Series.
And what would you have voted for?
Oh, I think I voted for 7 Super Series.
See, I had a lot of fun with Dungeon Bowl, but I know we had technical issues.
Oh, the audio,
which plagued it.
Yeah.
So I'd say 7 Super Series.
7 Super Series did win. Bonehead Championship was not far behind, but yeah, 7 Super Series, I think. And if you just think about how we've been doing the 7 Super Series, from the point you and I started filming, Milton, to where we ended up, like,
oh yeah,
the tech and audio, I think we got much better, which was quite a low bar, but still super important. And that's down to you guys just being like, we need to sort the audio out, we need to sort it out. And then we did little things, space for your name, message, or shout out. So we had a bunch of great stuff, and just some really lovely comments. Gronlock been to Dorset Dungeon Bowl in 2022. McSnagger won't be making it to Beachhead. Triple book the weekend. It was awesome. It was really good fun. And that does, in fact, wrap up the Bonies for 2022.
Nice.
Good.
I couldn't
I'm
believe
excited to.
how much Blood Bowl stuff had gone out this year.
I know.
A lot.
It's like because the pandemic finished and we all like just went ham on all the stuff we'd missed out on, I think. And I think
Yeah.
it was just great to do it again. I'm excited for this year. I think this year's going to be awesome, especially with the podcast, the improvements we've made to the tech, to like filming games and stuff. I think that's going to be really big, and I'm super hyped.
I can't wait to get in on some of these tournaments. I think it's going to be really good.
That's it. Like we got a bunch organised already, right? Like, we've got our tournaments, which are great fun. We're going up to Warhammer World to play sevens. Like, that's just awesome. I never would have considered that being a possibility, like, at all. Just not without just rocking up, but having a little. I mean, I don't know how popular it's going to be. Hopefully, there'll be a good like 20 or 30 people there. It'll be wicked. It is in the middle of the week.
It just be us three.
It might just be us, and that's fine. But like, that's wicked. And if we got this one in Portsmouth on the go, I think that sounds like a great little day out as well.
Yeah.
Yep, 2 days for my birthday as well. And then the day after that, I'm going back to Portsmouth, play 40k Crusade, like round robin with some friends.
Nice.
And then it's my birthday. It's going to be great.
Then it's Beachhead weekend.
Yeah, the one after that.
You
Yeah.
really need to book the hotels for that. We need to sort that out. But no, right, guys. I think we've covered everything. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up?
I think we're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's next year.
If you're coming to Beachhead, get your rosters in. If you're not coming to Beachhead, come to Beachhead. Then get your rosters in because it's going to be great fun. And I'm super looking forward to it. But yes, Milton, Ben, thank you very much for jumping on and chatting some Blood Bowl for 4 days.
Always good to be here.
Fantastic. Right, guys, we're going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking.